The Fan, an Odyssey sports station.
That's going to be a 10 for the world number one on the par 3 12th. 3 shots into the penalty area, 8 over par on her round, and 10 shots out of the lead.
This is Dirt and Sprague.
Irving behind the back dribble, pull up Jay. Count it from 18 feet on the right wing. Pretty move by Irving. He's got 21.
And you can see right now, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, they're just going to take turns trying to throw daggers at the Wolves.
With Andy Dirt Johnson and Brendan Sprague.
5 seconds to go. It's still along the wall. And the Florida Panthers take a 3-2 lead in the Eastern Conference Final with a 3-2 win in Game 5.
Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, 6:02 in the Rose City. Time for Dirt and Sprague on Portland Sports Leader 1080 The Fan. Off and rolling on a beautiful Friday morning. Good morning to all the roasters out there. You got your coffee, your energy drinks. How we doing?
What is happening?
Pretty wild little Thursday, wasn't it?
It was a wild little Thursday.
Something happened?
Yeah, I almost saw a guy die yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was actually pleased with the way I responded. You never know how you're going to react at a moment like that. I was at the range at Persimmon, and this older gentleman was in the stall next to me.
Just for context for those, Persimmon is a golf country
It's a
club.
golf,
It's not a
yes.
gun range.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's a golf course. And he was in the stall next to me. There's only one other guy out there, and he just keeled over.
Really?
Just like
Any noises or just fell?
I heard like a ugh, and then kind of because I was looking down. I have a hat on.
How old are we talking?
I ended up finding out he's 88 years old.
Yeah.
And he was wearing like long pants, long sleeves, long everything. And I remember when he was walking around, like, hey, I mean, it's not that hot, but it's a little warm today. It's kind of a shorts and t-shirt kind of day.
You're older, you get colder, though.
Yeah, a little bit. So he was wearing a lot of layers and just keeled over. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do here? And thankfully, I think he got like kind of dizzy and just fell over. Didn't hit his head, but my mind immediately raced to the worst thing of like, did this guy just have a heart attack in front of me? What do I do here? I don't know how to do CPR. Like I'm of no use. If you're going to keel over in front of somebody, I'm not high on that list. But thankfully, I gave him some water, went and got him some because he scratched his elbow a little bit, helped him clean up, helped him to his car. He ended up being okay.
Oh, I mean, did
But it
you
was
call
terrifying.
anybody?
No, he said he was. He kept saying he was like, "Don't call. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm gonna be okay. Just help me to my car."
So you hear him, and he falls.
And he just disappears. I look up. And
so
I'm
he's
like,
one bay over, two bays over.
One bay over. Next bay to me.
So you see him fall, you hear a noise,
Yeah.
you walk over. Is he immediately like, I'm okay?
Yes, immediately like,
Okay.
I just got dizzy, and I'm like, dude, let me get you some water. And so there were no cups in the little water thing, so I grabbed my water bottle and gave him some of my water, and then he like pulled up his sleeve, and he was bleeding, so I was like, let me go get you some paper towels.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just got to catch my breath. I'll be all right. And then he just wanted help to his car. And I'm like, are you sure you don't want me to call somebody right now? And then I'm like, is he going to be okay to drive?
He got in the car and drove away?
He got in a car and drove away.
Yeah, see, that's...
Like, what do I do there? Would I call the authorities, come arrest this old man? Don't let him drive away?
Look, Buck got in trouble the other day. He said people that are 60 should have to retake a driver's test. So Swag and everybody else is going to have to do that at some point.
60's a little young.
I believe everybody should do it every 10 years.
You think every 10 years? No
yes.
matter the age?
Doesn't matter the age.
Every 10 years?
Every 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, now,
about
what's
that.
the thought on that? You think it'll make people better drivers?
No.
Yes.
Because I think the issue of people being bad drivers is not them understanding the
They
rules
don't
of the
care.
road.
They're selfish.
I think they're selfish.
Yeah.
I understand.
And I don't know if a test is going to make you not selfish.
Did it make them not selfish after they got it at 16, 17, 18, 19, whatever?
No, I drove like an idiot.
I also think it helps, too, to discern people that that have eyesight issues.
Okay, that's fair.
That either... okay, it needs to be on their license. They have to have this, or they need to go back to the eye doctor, things like that. Checking their
do people
reflexes.
lie about that?
Yes,
Why?
because it's having your license stripped at some point because somebody determines you are not don't have the faculties to properly operate a vehicle.
That's a hard thing to swallow.
Is a very emasculating thing.
Getting glasses?
No, like losing your license for a certain reason, and maybe glasses being the reason for it. When my brother got
Get glasses. I don't. What's the hang up here?
When my brother got his license, that my parents did not know. He was like blind as a bat. He never said anything.
Really?
And he got his license, and he went to take the vision test part
Yeah,
of it.
failed
and he
it.
failed.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What?" And so I think my mom quickly thought, "Oh, you forgot your glasses in the car," and went out, like thought quickly on her feet, and they went out and they grabbed her glasses. He put her glasses on and passed the test.
So it worked.
And then he had to
Mom
go.
coming in clutch.
And then
in
he
the
had to
moment.
go to a vision doctor
Boy.
and get a pair of glasses and contact lenses.
Your mom's the opposite of you when an old man kills over. You're
Absolutely.
like, oh, no, here's glasses. You forgot
She found a
these.
solution immediately.
It's
And
like
then-
Ralphie's mom. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ralphie, you forgot your
You forgot
glasses
your glass.
outside.
And then that led to everybody asking him, like, why didn't you tell people that you can't see? Why wouldn't you say something?
Why didn't he?
I don't know. Maybe he just thought that's how everybody saw. I have no clue. I don't know if
Really?
I've ever gotten a firm answer on that.
You guys have both kind of blown my mind here. I thought people who had bad eyes, like, get that addressed.
You would think if
Don't
you're
you want glasses and better vision?
you're like 8 years old and everything's blurry, like, hey, maybe I'm not seeing things clearly here. Maybe I need a pair of glasses.
That's that movie with Alan Arkin and Steve Carell.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine. I love that movie.
Great movie.
Really sad moment when Paul Dano, the older brother in the back seat, wants to be a fighter pilot and he realizes he's colorblind and he's
Yes.
never going to be one. That is like, oh my God, how awful was that?
And dawns on him like, oh God, I can only see greens and blues.
But when it's blurry, when things
Yeah.
are blurry,
yeah, colors make more sense of just like not
Sure.
quite comprehending. You don't get the full spectrum of color.
yeah.
But blurriness should be a pretty obvious sign. Like you got some issues.
I didn't know people didn't try to address that stuff. I thought that was,
I mean-
my eyes are a little blurry. I'm going to go try to see if I need glasses. I need glasses.
I mean, we all put off health issues, though, don't we? You know, like people who get older, we have to do like a driving force of like, go get your prostate checked. You could die of prostate cancer, and a lot of people don't want to do it.
My dad is, because he had hepatitis C, I want to say.
Okay.
Anyways, cirrhosis of the liver. So he had a lot of years of his life where he was sick. He wasn't feeling great. Thought he was going to die at one point. He doesn't like to go to the doctor, and he never wants to admit it.
Yeah.
He hates if I say it to him. Oh, I'm not scared. What are you talking about? I'm scared. I'm not scared. I'm like, well, then go to the doctor. Well, I don't think I need to, you know.
I'm okay. I'll be all right.
Yeah,
I'm
and so
fine.
like he's got this natural fear of seeing a doctor. I guess more people have it if they can't admit that they need glasses.
Yeah, it's really weird, man. But I think it's a thing that we deal with our entire lives. Because I'm that way in some instances where you're like, I'll be okay.
What do you have that you think you're
I mean,
like
there's been
this?
things over the years where I'm like, I should probably go get that checked out. And then
Mm.
you're like, I'm all right. And then a couple of weeks go by and you're like, okay, I don't really notice it anymore, so maybe it went away. So I'm just going to go about my business and everything will be fine. It's not out of a fear of doctors. I don't know if it's just out of laziness, if it's out of stubbornness. I'm not quite sure what the driving force is.
Well, I mean, there is a natural, like I used to have a huge fear of the dentist,
Yeah.
like terrified.
Don't go digging around my gums,
I
man.
used to cry laying in my bed knowing I had to go to the dentist the next day.
Are you flossing before every brush?
Well, they lied to me every time. They'd always be like, it's just a cleaning. And then I had like a plastic garb covering half my mouth. I had pliers holding things open. And we need to pull this too. We need to cap this too. And I'm like, you lied to me. All of you lied to me. You said it was a standard cleaning. And now I'm sitting here having like open mouth surgery. It's awful.
And your mouth's open and they want to have a conversation with you.
It's the
So
worst.
what do you do for work as your mouth is open? I talk a lot. Take it easy on my teeth.
But to the original point of every 10 years is crazy. I'm sorry. There's just age ranges in there that don't need to be taking tests.
Somebody's texting in saying, I agree. I hold a CDL, and I think people should take it every 5 years.
5
He's going more
years?
aggressive
There's
than
a lot
Swigart.
of bad driving out there, and it needs to be weeded out.
I don't know if taking a test weeds
Yeah.
it out is kind of my point.
That's the only argument that I make, is I feel like people, like, if you knew you had to go take a driver's test and you're a bad driver, you're going to put on your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to go weaving in and out of traffic or not merging the right way. I think you're going to do what you need to do to keep your license, and then you're going to go back to being the same douchebag that you are.
From age 17 to 24, let's call it 24, I had 10 tickets. So I got my license. I got 10 tickets. From age 25 to now, zero, my friend. None of those tickets are on my record anymore because they go away. So to your point, stupid.
Surprised you still had a license.
No, it got
10.
suspended.
Should have booted your ass off the road.
It got suspended. You get 4 tickets in a year, you get suspended. I learned that the hard way.
Did you FaceTime into your court hearing from driving your car?
Thankfully, we didn't have a court hearing, but yes, I needed to get to work. I told you yesterday we're back roads. I was safe.
Hey, Brandon here checking in for court. Hold on, I'm pulling into work. Just give me 1 second.
I guess I hear the point, but I just don't think taking a test to
Granted, I think they need
confirm
to
it.
redo the tests.
I don't really remember much about that. It's been a long time. It's been 20
I don't know
years
what
for
they're
me.
like now.
I got 100% on my driver's license test. I failed my permit test 4 times. Explain that one.
Did you get out of the car and check for a baby behind the vehicle?
No, but I said you go left on a roundabout in my permit test once, and I felt so stupid when I saw the picture of a roundabout. I was like, oh no, where do I go on a roundabout? I panicked. I went left.
Go left, go left.
And it shows me a roundabout. I'm like, well, that makes sense.
Go left. Somebody's saying, I've got a buddy who's obviously needed glasses, and he refused to get them.
Why? Why?
The kicker is he's a delivery driver.
Oh my God.
He's out
What
there
is wrong
operating a
with these
vehicle.
people?
Get this guy some glasses.
Get the surgery for your eyes or get some contacts or glasses. What are we doing? Don't you guys want to see?
I would imagine so. I don't quite understand. So yeah, I saved an old guy's life yesterday. I'm a savior, and it was a great day.
You didn't really.
I'm taking the credit. I've taken the credit. I gave him water. He was parched. He needed water.
I don't know if
he needed some paper towels to
Okay.
cover up his wounds and his cuts on his elbows. I helped him to his vehicle. Now I just gotta hope he made it home safely.
My original point, going back to the whole thing to wrap it up, is Buck was saying 60. I think it's a bit young for that. 88 is a number that it's like,
that's up there.
Now I want you tested.
Yeah.
If we're going to do this to 16-year-olds, we should be doing it to, 80 or older.
Yeah.
And so you did help. You also let an 88-year-old man who just randomly collapsed drive away in his car.
It was a hot day, okay? It was a hot summer day. He just needed a moment, needed to catch his breath, and I was there with water.
Okay.
I was there.
I'm glad you had a great Thursday.
You're welcome. Shout out to that 88-year-old. Just saving lives over here, man.
I'm sure he's listening right now.
I'm an American hero. He's probably up this early.
He's been up for at least an hour and a half.
He's definitely up. He's doing some exercises.
I bet you that guy's sitting in a McDonald's right now somewhere with a guy named Earl, and they're eating a big breakfast platter.
Oh, God. Those were so good as a kid.
The pancakes,
I
the eggs.
loved the big breakfast.
You got those?
I did as a kid.
Oh, I hated them.
You get the lukewarm pancake.
Hotcakes.
You got to
hot cakes.
You got to try and cut them with your plastic fork. You can't quite dig into them completely. It's the whole thing.
I always wanted the
How many
sandwiches with hash
little
brown.
packets of syrup did you need to?
Handful. You needed a handful.
Okay.
Yeah, you needed a handful.
I was always delighted because I'd go into some McDonald's when I worked early shifts at other jobs. I'd go in sometimes and I'd look over, and I was always delighted watching that old guy rip that paper pepper packet and then just be like, just sprinkling pepper all over his fake scrambled eggs or whatever those are.
This is luxury right here.
It was,
This is class defined.
I could see myself being an old McDonald's guy.
Old guy at McDonald's in the morning.
I could see it. I've always kind of woken up early. I'm sure this job, if it doesn't kill me, it's going to just condition me to wake up at 5 a.m. every day of my life.
Yeah, you got no control anymore.
And then I'm like, let's go to McDonald's.
My dad did that because he'd been conditioned as a teacher. He had, be there before the kids. So
early. My mom's that way. She's up early every day.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
Every
what
single
you
day.
do.
Well, she listens and texts in when you need defense on the text line.
She
is what
does.
Your mom does.
And somebody just
True.
texted in, hey, way to go, Andy, saving that old man's life.
Yeah,
wow, what a great
He
text.
probably still had a better day than the Timberwolves, though.
Well, at least they didn't go 0 for 34,
Their season died.
Their season did die.
Speaking of death,
yeah, their season is
T-Wolves.
And it went
officially
quick.
over.
Put that dog out of its misery, didn't they?
Somebody did call me an apprentice midwife paramedic. Thank you. All right, I just want a little bit of credit here for doing a good deed in society.
Well, good morning. Happy Friday. It is a Spring and Line Friday. It's also Basketball Friday, so Eric Gunderson's going to join us. We're just going to talk hoops with Gundy.
Good.
I told him, get your takes ready. He's
Bring
too
'em.
lazy to book a guest. I'm like, Gundy, stock finals. We got to match him.
That guy's going to be on the toilet at 7:30. I can't wait.
You're damn right. I don't know where he is. He's not home, but he said he's in the country. somewhere. So we'll talk with Gunderson at the Daily Ticker at 7:30. Sprague and Line at 8:30. A lot of odds and ends to get to in the world of sports. Let's start. We've got an NBA Finals matchup. We'll start there on the Fan.
The Herd with
Hallelujah, it's Friday, 'cause I've been working all week.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back in. Dirt and Sprague with you on this beautiful Friday. There is just something about that weather, man. When it's blue sky in the morning and sun, just changes things for you.
Enjoy it today because we got an atmospheric river coming tomorrow.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, it's coming on Sunday.
Okay, this weekend there's an atmospheric river coming.
So what's tomorrow then, Swag? Good weather or bad
Tomorrow
weather?
will be overcast, but
it.
around 70.
Damn it.
Should be dry.
Oh, that's those underrated getting sunburn days.
Yeah, don't get burned.
If you're going out to PIR.
But we might be trending for our first heat wave next weekend.
I'm all in.
85 up to 90 potentially.
Yeah.
Bake it out a little bit.
We've got an NBA Finals.
We do have an NBA Finals.
You want to rip your ticket up for the YouTube audience of the Timberwolves?
I enjoyed everybody tweeting me that yesterday. That was nice to wake up to this morning.
As if losing the bet doesn't hurt enough.
Exactly.
Yes. I think the Action Network said a thing of it was the Karl Anthony Towns where he's walking off the floor, like waving goodbye to the crowd. And the Action Network sent out a tweet said, Wolves futures bettors waving goodbye to their tickets. And I think 4 different listeners tagged me in that tweet. So thank you for that. They had a good run, felt good. They got through Denver, and I thought, holy hell, this thing's actually going to cash.
You know what? They did actually have a good run.
They had a great run, man.
It's a great season.
Horrible way to go out, though. Like, show up. What are we doing?
Yeah,
Getting embarrassed on your home floor after we all spent the last 3 days saying, oh, man, this coming over there. Every game's close.
It's not often. We played an audio clip from Boston yesterday that made me hate Boston more. Their Bill Walton bit where they hung up on Bill Walton years ago.
I had a buddy text me and said, that turned me into a Karen. I now hate that guy, and I hate that city.
Yeah, you should. He seems very miserable anyway when he does his show. But I found myself yesterday with Boston and everything. I kind of found myself siding with a Boston person yesterday, and I can't believe it. There was a radio station that interviewed J.J. Redick and basically was asking Redick questions about finals and matchups and playoffs and, was kind of alluding to one team outworking another team. And Redick was like, it's asinine. You didn't get outworked. There's just matchups that don't work. We're in the playoffs. You get to this point, you didn't get outworked. And I was kind of like, I feel like this is kind of a split thing in the former player, category. There's some that would probably disagree with JJ there. And then I watched that game, and I went, I think that radio host was right, because Minnesota just flat out did not show up, and they got completely outworked and done in. Luke outscored them in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then Luka and Kyrie outscored them in the first half. It was just
44-40.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, that's game over.
You just rolled over. You're like a dog just wanting their belly scratched. You just roll over and just let them kill you off.
I mean, it's just little things that don't show up in a box score, like not closing out to somebody quickly at the 3-point line, like not being aggressive in moments like that. Like that is work, that is effort. It doesn't show up in a box score. It shows up as a made three, but not not contesting the shot, not playing more aggressive defense. It was unfortunate because that series had been pretty tight back and forth. They won Game 4 in Dallas, and you're like, all right, maybe there's a little momentum on their side. And Anthony Edwards is a great trash talker. See you all back in Dallas for Game 6. Can't wait. And it's just like that game took legitimately, I don't know about you guys, like 6 minutes in. And I know you have a big thing in modern NBA of like games are never over, and we've had some crazy comebacks. But there was the feeling like 6-7 minutes into that game of this is not going to go well. Luka cannot miss. He is body bagging everybody. And Minnesota just looks uninterested and like they're not there mentally.
Well, me and Danny did a pod last night. At halftime, I watched a little bit of the halftime show, and Chuck summed it up how everybody else in America was thinking. Like, this was embarrassing.
Yes.
This is your whole season. You're at home. I don't know what it was with them, but something about playing in Minnesota for playoff games just didn't sit well with them. They were utterly embarrassing the entire way through at home.
They really were.
I turned it off.
I did too, yeah.
Because
I didn't watch second half.
It was LeBron-Boston Game 6 to me, watching Luka in the first quarter, and I'm like, they're not losing this game. No. There was no indication. In fact, I'll go one step further. Before Luka made a single bucket or dribbled the ball at all in the game, I had told my wife I thought the game was over. And she goes, it haven't started yet. And I go, I know. You see their jerseys? They're not winning with neon gray jerseys. What the hell are you doing?
Season's on the line, and you pick those ones.
You're picking these alternate, stupid. City Connect. I don't know what those jerseys were. Burn them. Put them in the incinerator. Wear your sweet ass Wolves jerseys. You've been rocking all playoffs. Yeah. Why did you go into that? That was my first indicator. Something ain't right today.
No, you
Something's
can't.
off.
In an elimination game, you can't wear those. They're throwback unis and the throwback logo that they've kind of embraced. It's a great look, man. The simple wolves across the front, the logo on the middle of the floor.
It reminds me of NBA Jam when it was like, I want Isaiah Ryder. I want J.R. Ryder and whoever the hell else is with him. Maybe KG is a rookie.
J.R. Ryder.
That was the old Wolves on the NBA Jam. It was J.R. Ryder.
Slam dunk contest winner, J.R. Ryder, man.
Damn right.
Blazer legend. It just, it was a great year. It sucks to lose in that fashion. I think you remind yourself Anthony Edwards is 22, and these young guys go through lumps, man. Like, how many guys, I was thinking about this last night, how many guys like at 22 or younger were the driving force for a team to make an NBA championship in NBA history? Like, how many of those guys even exist in the history of the league?
Well, we know LeBron got there in 07. Magic for sure.
Yeah, but Magic one's a tough one, though, because I get it, but like having Kareem with you, like,
he won the Finals MVP his rookie year.
Yeah. I know he didn't. He played center in games. Yeah. I know. I understand all of that, but like that's a pretty good situation to be in.
I understand that.
Was he their best player on that team, or was Kareem the best player? Like that's the analogy that I'm trying to make. I know he made it at a young age.
Magic gave them a different dynamic, especially at the time. There weren't 6'9" point guards.
Sure, I mean there still aren't really.
He allowed them to go to the finals.
Let's just, for argument's sake, let's throw Magic in there to be fair, since he got the Finals MVP as a rookie. LeBron, Magic.
What about the Durant OKC team? Was he 20? I can't remember what year that was.
So they got to the Finals in 12. He was the 07 draft class. He came out at 19. No.
It would have been 24.
Kobe. Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
He was 22 when they were three-peated.
Yeah, coming out as a high school kid.
You're saying driving force?
I'm saying being the best player on a team, being the guy.
Kobe wasn't the best player, but Kobe certainly was.
I think it's similar to Magic, where it's like he was a key part of it. They don't get there without him.
Huge part of it.
Shaq was the best player on those teams.
Okay.
And there's not really a debate. That was the thing I was thinking about last night of just like this is a unique run even just to get to the conference finals. A guy being that young early in his career, getting you to that point. The biggest thing they got to figure out is just what is Karl Anthony Towns, and is he reliable?
Do you trade him? I think is where a lot of people kind of ask, they sit because he had a good playoff, and then this conference finals happens, and he
shot 24% from three.
He had one good game. He was abysmal.
The only good game he had was game 4. He was 4 of 5. He was 0 of 8 in a pivotal game 3. Yeah. He was 1 of 5 in game 2 at home in a loss, 2 of 9, 1 of 6 last night.
I don't know any player I don't know any of their numbers from last night. Like, I didn't look at the box score. None of it matters. They just got obliterated last night. They didn't show up. It was kind of reminiscent. Wasn't as bad score-wise, but a little reminiscent of Dallas-Phoenix in Phoenix in Game 7. Remember that one?
I do remember that game. I would say for the Anthony Towns trade, I would consider it. I would.
Karl Anthony Towns?
I don't think it's I don't view that as a blow-up. I view that as a tinker of just, if you could trade Karl Anthony Towns, and it's hard to think of names that are even available. But
that's the problem I have. But
it's
the obvious.
If you could go get another...
You're giving up size, so you got to get some size back. That's not just a simple, this guy for 6'7" guy. That changes things.
And I know Rudy Gobert has been dragged in the postseason. A lot of that is dumb and ridiculous to me. He's one of the best defensive centers in the NBA. So it's not like you're trading Karl Anthony Towns and your backup center is Drew Eubanks. Like, you have Rudy Gobert still on your roster. I think they need another shot creator, another guy who can go get his own. Somewhat consistently, and again, good luck finding that, right? But Karl Anthony Towns is still a decent trade chip. He's only 28 years old. We all know he's a good player. He seems very unreliable in big moments with foul trouble, and then at times just settling to shoot three-pointers constantly. And if he's shooting 24%, there's no impact there.
I can't believe it's still a story, but man, what does it say about the fact that it is? That's next on The Fan.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the NBA Finals matchup is all set after Luka and Kyrie made quick work of the Timberwolves in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. They each had 36 points in the series clincher, a 124-103 rout. Dallas led by 29 at halftime. Mavericks making their first finals appearance since 2011. They'll take on the Celtics, who are looking for their 18th championship in franchise history. Game 1 Thursday, Celtics 6-point favorites. Road teams have won 3 of the 5 games in the Eastern Conference Finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs after the Florida Panthers spoiled the party at Madison Square Garden with a 3-2 win. They take a 3-2 lead back to Florida for Game 6 on Saturday. Tonight, Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, where the Stars and Oilers are tied at 2-all. Puck drops 5:30. We'll have that one for you on 910 ESPN Portland. Our pregame coverage starts at 5 o'clock. Ducks and Beavers begin their runs in the NCAA baseball tournament. The road to Omaha, Oregon is in the Santa Barbara Regional, taking on the WCC champion San Diego Toreros today. First pitch at noon on 910 ESPN Portland. Pregame coverage at 11:45. The Beavers are hosting the Corvallis Regional and opening up against Tulane. 6 o'clock first pitch tonight on ESPN2. Just 4 players in red numbers after round 1 of the U.S. Women's Open at Lancaster Country Club. Round 2 is underway. Minji Lee has grabbed the lead at 2 under par. A 3-way tie at 1 under. It's going to be a lot of work for some big names. Lexi Thompson, she is 8 over par, starting her round today. Nelly Korda, world number 1, will start the day at +10. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Hot Corner, now in its new time. Tuesday. This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back in. Dirt and Sprague with you. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. We'll dive into a finals kind of preview coming up. Also got some college football notes that came out a little bit yesterday.
A lot of kick times out, baby.
One of those kick times not great for Dirt.
Which one is that?
I
don't know what you're talking about.
What a tease.
That is a dirty tease.
Yesterday I was Thankfully, not on Twitter when a former president was found guilty 34 times.
It's a good day to stay off.
I was on just before that had happened.
Yeah.
I was actually shopping for bread when that came out, and I was like, okay, well.
I was out saving old man's lives when it happened, and I got home. I was like, whoa, okay. Let's log off for the night. See you tomorrow.
Do you want to run? You're old enough.
Yeah, you would fit right in. They're looking for a guy.
But I was perusing Twitter, and I saw something that kind of caught my eye. Scottie Pippen yesterday, former Blazer great.
Legend.
Tweeted, "Thanks for letting me be a part of your life, Bill." And I don't know about you, but it kind of like I did a double take. That guy passed away a few days ago, and it doesn't happen often where people get this long a run of storytelling and condolences publicly. You know, those are usually reserved for the biggest of names. And my algorithm is primarily sports driven. But I just it caught my eye of, man, even at this point, he's still getting people that are sending public statements out about him. And we talked about it. We addressed it for most of our show on Tuesday. But haven't you guys found it pretty remarkable how many people and how long the Bill Walton stuff has been going on this week?
I'm not surprised by how many people. But I mean, still with the NBA playoffs going on, had this been in July or something?
It's the last athlete that somebody passed away on a Monday, and on Friday you were still getting stuff pouring in.
Ooh, that's tough. Arnold Palmer was probably that way.
Okay, so
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of even big name athletes who have passed away. They were that big. Was the Bill Russell thing this long?
I don't feel like it was.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
And that, you're talking about, the hierarchy of the league, you're talking about a bigger name than Bill Walton. So,
yeah. I think it's just because of how, and not to say that some of these athletes weren't. I obviously don't know that, but
sure.
I think it's more just about how the person that he was, and when you have an impact on that many people's lives, like you're always going to get the generic when somebody famous or big dies. You're going to get the thoughts and prayers to the family. What a great career, what a legend, and blah blah blah. You're going to get that from almost everybody, but it'll slowly die off because they didn't truly impact that many people's lives one-on-one and individually. And that was the thing that always stood out. Even getting the stories that we heard from people like Casey Holdall on Tuesday, that everybody that Bill Walton met, Bill Walton made feel like a big deal. He took time. He cared what you had to say. He was engaged in the conversation. And so almost everybody that ever had an interaction with him felt like they had come away with a friend, and that somebody that they would always know, hey, Bill Walton knows me and I know Bill Walton and all that. And so I think it just has to do with the person that he was, and how he genuinely always seemed to care. And it was never a phoniness. There was never any questioning his motives, anything like that. And so I think that's why you continue to get these from all sorts of different athletes and individuals.
Well, you know what it reminded me of? It has a little bit of similar feeling of Ted Lasso. And it doesn't make sense to say that out loud, but the way that people kind of gravitated towards Ted Lasso, a show, centered around soccer with a American football coach, but primarily driven by kindness, respect, a little bit of wit and humor.
Yeah.
There was, in the way that we all kind of watched that show, it's almost like that's what played out, but in real life for a person who just passed away.
Well, and watching either of them made you feel good. It put a smile on your face.
Yes.
And you felt like you were getting something from it.
Yes.
That wasn't superficial.
Well, I didn't expect to feel... it catches you off guard when it comes out, and then you do a show on it, and you're like, well, yeah, there we go. And then more stories come out the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. You're like, man. And then you watch something, and you're sitting in your kitchen, meal prepping, listening to a clip, and getting a little, teary-eyed, just like, man, that guy was a good dude.
He was a really good
He was a very good person to people on and off the camera.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen. And the fact that he, in a weird way, kind of represents our city, our favorite basketball team. I just thought it was really cool that, like, even yesterday I'm on Twitter and I'm still seeing another person. Hey, man, R.I.P. Bill Walton. Thanks for letting me be a part of what your life was.
Well, I think it touches back to that, the kind of person that you are. When you genuinely care and you take time for other people, a lot of people are going to have stories about you because of that. And I think that's been the most enjoyable thing for this, for me in the last couple of days. I never had the chance to meet Bill Walton. I saw him in the bowels of the Moda Center once or twice, but never shook his hand. We never had him on the show. We never had a conversation with him, but you feel like you know him. But it's been so nice to hear, like, just from all over the map, whether it's the Mike Breen story that basically makes you cry about the way he treated his dad. Rich Eisen had a great one on his show where he talked about filming the Katy Perry video,
yeah.
and then he had this big chair that broke the window in his Tesla, but he needed a ride back to his hotel. And he would just, like, every single person he came across, it felt like had something of that level. And I've watched a million of them. Every time there's a testimonial or there's a clip from him doing a podcast or there's somebody saying, here's my Bill Walton story, they've been all over social media the last couple of days. And it's been a refreshing reminder of the good of humanity because that's what Bill Walton was.
Swag, I'm kind of surprised your reaction is just like no big deal, as if all these athletes that are great pass away and get a whole week's worth of tribute and storytelling.
Well, but Bill had 3 careers, quite frankly. I think I look at his college career kind of with the Blazers. Then he went away with injury in the Clippers, who were awful. And then he revitalized, and everybody remembered how good a basketball player he was when he was a Sixth Man of the Year with the Celtics and helping them get to a title. And then he reinvented himself as this broadcaster, which was a surprise of all surprises, and was able to stay relevant in the game of basketball for years and years and years.
Every generation has a connection to him.
So, yeah. So I think it all part of the other reason was it was a holiday weekend. So I think there were a lot of people that were, out of touch or out of as much in touch over the weekend doing whatever they might have done with family or to get away.
I guess I'm just a little surprised that you just like maybe it's not resonating with Dirt or you.
But no,
it's remarkable that it's gone a week. That doesn't happen for people.
Yeah, people are texting in. The only other one that's standing out to folks is obviously Kobe. That was
that's what I'm talking about.
Young, but that was more of a like surprise
tragedy.
Yeah,
it was a major tragedy for sure. But
and
nobody knew he had cancer.
Nope.
Nobody knew he was that close to death's door.
Nope.
And it was just Bill Walton has passed away, and I'm like, what? And it's not that it's like, well, he's so young. It's just more nobody had any idea it was happening.
No.
And here we go a full week. And that's kind of my point is usually this you mentioned Bill Russell. I mean, Bill Russell has as much I don't see right, but like
cachet.
Bill Russell cachet or name or just respect within the league as anybody ever to have this long of a tribute of a life. And obviously being on TV helps Walton a little more than Russell. But I feel like Russell's was a couple days max. This has been the whole week, and that's kind of my point.
Well, and I think to the other thing that Swag was bringing up, is
and mostly non-basketball, by the way.
Yeah, well, and that's where I think it's interesting. He was in so many different circles, if you will, and everybody has some sort of connectivity. If you're a just average sports fan, to Bill Walton. Like, if you're my dad's age and you say, hey, what do you think of when you think of Bill Walton? The first thing you think of, that he's going to think of, is the 77 championship.
He's probably going to think about college and stuff, too.
And college, too, and how good he was at UCLA, right?
Right?
So you have that group. If you're Swag's age, and I say, hey, what first thing you think of when you're Bill Walton? Not quite old enough to remember 77. Probably the 86 Celtics of like, man, he revived his career. He won a championship in Boston.
Yeah.
Sixth Man of the Year. He's still going. If you're our age, the first thing you think of when you think of Bill Walton is either NBC with Snapper Jones, or if you're younger, then it's more Pac-12 Network, Conference of Champions.
Right.
And then he also delves into the whole world of music. And if you're a Grateful Dead fan, or if you're a rock and roll fan, you know who Bill Walton is, because he was a long-haired hippie at UCLA who didn't want to cut his hair and he didn't want to shave his beard. And John Wooden threatened to kick him off the team after he was the best player in all of college basketball and won a national championship. Like, he has had such an interesting life story, and he is in so many different silos of society that it just, I think that's why you're getting this reach. If for me, for Bill Russell, I didn't have any connectivity to him. He won all these championships. I know the story. I know how great he was and what he had to endure when he was in Boston.
Won the title in '69 as a player coach.
He did as a player coach while his whole city hated him and tried to burn his house down.
They put human feces in his bed while he was
Go
winning championships.
Celtics. Way to go, Boston. But I don't like he wasn't that level of he didn't stay in the forefront of American society for my entire life.
Yeah.
Like Bill Walton, I was watching Bill Walton call Oregon games 4 months ago. He was still doing it.
Yeah.
Talking weird about volcanoes and rivers and lakes, and I loved every second of it. That's where Bill Walton I think is truly unique. That not many all-time athlete figures then follow it up with that level of a media career that keep them in the limelight.
He's not from Oregon, and yet I identify him with the state of Oregon.
Yeah.
And one of, if not the biggest people from Oregon to pass away that isn't technically from Oregon. He lived in San Diego.
Yeah.
But he loved to be up here.
We claim him, man. He's ours.
We do claim him.
Come on, he's ours.
We used to claim Aaron Rodgers, too.
Yeah, we did used to
Some
claim.
still do.
Beaverton's own Aaron Rodgers.
Beaverton's very own Aaron Rodgers. All right. R.I.P. Bill Walton. It's awesome to see him still getting his flowers. We have a lot to get to on the radio program. We got some college football notes to get to. An NBA Finals is set, and a local tournament is underway today. We'll get it all going. Dirt and Sprague on the Fan.
It's back, and it's sure.
apply.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
We got to talk about the Corvallis Regional today. We've got to get to some college football odds and ends. We got an NBA Finals matchup. Gundy's going to join us.
What about the Santa Barbara Regional? Huh?
Yeah, we can get to that too.
Come on, man.
Ducks are playing.
I dove into San Diego.
Did you?
Yeah.
Who's starting for them today?
That lefty bum.
Is he a lefty?
He's going to get rocked. I have no clue. Game's at noon, though. I know that.
It's the best part about college baseball tournaments. Why dive in? You don't know if they're going to win.
I got no clue, man, but I'm excited to watch.
We've got multiple probably segments of Fun with Audio. It is a Fast Break Friday, a fun Friday. Someone like to call
I think
it.
we just go like a feeling good Friday.
A feeling good Friday.
Feeling good Friday.
A Sprague and Line Friday.
It's a summer Friday. We're getting into summer territory here.
I've never been divorced. Dirt has not been divorced. Swag, you've been divorced just once.
One time.
Happily married right now. When you got divorced, did you feel like you had to write a song to describe your divorce to America?
No.
You didn't have that urge?
No.
Well, Kelsey Plum, who is thriving quite well in Vegas, the Aces are clearly the best team in the WNBA.
Yes, she is.
I say that as a League Pass member, and I could go on a whole tangent on the League Pass for the WNBA.
Oh, are we pro or against?
They're benefiting the Caitlin Clark bump. They're clearly not a league ready for what this is. Their League Pass is atrocious.
Like just the quality, the product of
the quality,
yeah.
the
Okay.
technology and stuff. The officiating in that league is so garbage, I can't begin to tell you. And the coaching decisions don't make any sense to me. It is a league that feels still 6 to 10 years behind where it should be.
Yeah, this is a level of attention that I'm not sure anybody in their wildest dreams thought that league would get.
Not at all. The attendance and the viewership's been great. Everything else, I'm telling you, as a viewer, not good. It needs to catch up and catch up.
I mean, even their national broadcast, because I've watched, the wife's kind of into it, and so we've watched a couple of games, and it's, it's fun. And she's having a sport that she's kind of enjoying watching, and it's something that's like, yeah, hell yeah, you're into it, let's turn it on. I got no problem with it. The coaching interviews that they do, as I get a frog in my throat, the coaching interviews during play,
yeah.
What are we doing?
It's a little odd.
It's not even in between quarters.
Nate Tibbetts was the first one I saw do this. They were like, let's go to the Coach Tibbetts. And I was like, hey, Nate Tibbetts. And he's just like, the game is happening. He's like, yeah, hopefully, get back.
Yeah,
hopefully
yelling.
we can execute. Really. And I'm like, why would you do this?
I don't know. I still, to this day, all of them, all the coaches' interviews, I just don't know what you get out of it. All the time and effort and trouble.
There's no benefit to it whatsoever.
I don't
Becky
know
Hammond had one. She couldn't even hear what they were saying.
Yeah,
she was like, whatever. Just took the earpiece out. Like, this is stupid.
I don't know why we still do it. Just,
the
scrap
only
it,
ones
get rid
that
of
are
it.
actually good are like in Major League Baseball. Like they'll go in the dugout and talk to like yesterday's starting pitcher or whatever.
Sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the guy's just sitting there. He's not playing.
Exactly.
Not involved in the game.
Even the manager ones, and you'll see it in the college baseball tournament on the ESPN games. They'll throw the headset on Mitch or Waz or whoever, but baseball is such they're just sitting in the dugout. It's not like they're calling
It's a different
out
vibe in
plays.
baseball. Yeah,
It works. The walk and talk in golf, fantastic. You're talking to them as they're walking down the fairway of a hole, trying to understand what they're doing, where their tee shot went. But in a course of game action like hockey or basketball, the coaches don't want to do it. The reporters know that they're being intrusive and they're trying to tread lightly. It doesn't add anything.
My wife got her first sports fan experience. She's been pretty heavy on the League Pass, and yesterday the Fever game was on Prime Video. And she could not find it on her League Pass, and it says exclusively Prime Video. And she goes, well, why am I paying for League Pass if it's on Prime Video? And I said, welcome to all of our hell.
Yep.
This is football for us now. You got the Cock Network. You got the Prime Video Network. You've got cable television of some sort. This is what sports is. And she goes, well, it's stupid and it should stop.
Tell her she's now officially like an old white baseball fan, too, who yells about games being on Apple TV only on Friday. Why am I paying for extra innings? I can't even watch my team.
Well, Kelsey Plum is a point guard, formerly of Washington, who got married to tight end Darren Waller.
One of the only good things the Huskies have ever done.
And they were married about a year. They just got divorced, and there's rampant rumors that he was cheating on her.
Mm-hmm.
She said she's not going to tell the story. Not yet. It's not the time. Darren Waller decided to tell a story. We're not really sure the story he's telling, but tight end Darren Waller of Ryan Cooley's New York Giants. This is where the Giants are at right now. Their tight end has written a song, and I pulled about a minute of it because it's about all I could handle.
Yeah.
And if you want to know what an NFL tight end sounds like with auto-tune, here you go.
You know, in life, it's hard to love. It's hard to be free. It's hard to give out of your soul.
God.
Have your heart broken in return, but
It gets worse.
He hadn't even started singing yet.
No.
take your time in here. Just take a time out to feel. The nights we opened up and we knew how
I actually did talk to Jamie Jones.
Go Giants.
I gotta climb up this hill. I'm tired and I wanna be still.
What?
Imagine if we fell out of tune, 'cause who knew that love could kill?
Whoa. Every artist does this when they don't know what to say.
Who knew that love could kill?
God, it's awful.
I mean, I've
It's
been
so
trying to
bad.
Google
It's
if
2 more minutes of that, by the way.
Oh, it just keeps going. I watched it yesterday, and I'm just like, he's still. Oh, there's another verse. Okay,
He eventually gets stabbed in the back by a woman that he's trying to make look like Kelsey Plum on a beach.
It's really weird.
It's a
energy.
weird video.
Who was the guy that had the one famous song that then stole? But he stole the song from Marvin Gaye, and then he had a really hot wife, and then he cheated on her, and then he made the song to try and get her back. Does that ring any dots to you?
Well, you know how I am with music, so I'm not of any help here.
He was a white guy.
He was Vanilla Ice.
No.
Okay.
Robin Thicke.
Oh, yeah,
Remember
Robin
that one?
Thicke.
So I don't know.
Paula Patton. Hello.
Paula Patton. That's the gal I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
So he remember he cheated on her.
Yes.
And then he was like #1 in the world. And then I think he got sued because they found out he stole the song and the
Yes.
beat from Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, Alan Thicke's son.
Yes. And then he came. Remember his breakup song that he did?
Yep.
He did like an I Want You Back kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was cringeworthy. I never thought that level of cringeworthy would ever be topped.
It did.
Having a music video with a Kelsey Plum lookalike driving in a car away from you while singing an auto-tune, words that nobody can understand.
Yeah, I actually listened to the whole song for the show's sake, and there wasn't any one verse that describes anything about what happened.
No, nothing at all.
Just sounds like a sad guy.
This is where you need people in your life that can be honest with you.
He's got no people in his life.
There needs to be somebody in that group that he sends that into their group chat and just says, "Hey fellas, what do you think about my new single?" And it's an immediate like, dude, you cannot really what the hell are you thinking, man?
How does this play in the locker room?
I mean, how do you not make fun of him?
Whoa.
Every time he walks in.
Hey, Darren.
Dude, he's not. I mean, he's had a rough go the last couple. I mean, the last couple of years in Vegas weren't great. His 1 year in New York was not very good. He had one touchdown.
He's had the case of the dropsies. He's injury prone.
He had those 2 years in Vegas. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, Darren Waller's the best tight end in the NFL," and then it just has not been the thing since then.
Daniel Jones and Darren Waller are auto-tune songs. Not going well right now in New York.
Catch the fever,
Hopefully
man.
Malik Neighbors can get rid of all of those narratives.
We'll see if he can do it on his own, but I don't even know if he wants to be there.
Who
Based
knows?
on his interviews, he doesn't even want to be there.
Loaded second hour. We got NBA Finals set. We got a regional to get to. Eric Anderson's going to join us. Hour number 2, Dirt and Sprague on the Fan.
Portland.
Make that make sense.
I can't.
1080 The Fan, an Odyssey sports station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, it'll be a week before the NBA Finals tips off between the Celtics and Mavericks. Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, each with 36 points as Dallas closes out the Timberwolves in a Game 5 rout of the Western Conference Finals, 124-103. Boston installed as the favorite in the series. They are 6-point favorites for that opener on Thursday. Road teams have won 3 of 5 in the Eastern Conference Finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Panthers spoiling the fun at Madison Square Garden with a 3-2 win, taking a 3-2 lead in that series. They'll be in Florida for Game 6 Saturday night. Tonight it's Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Stars and Oilers knotted up at 2 games apiece. Puck drops at 5:30. You'll hear it over on 910 ESPN Portland. Our pregame coverage starts at 5 o'clock. Oregon Ducks start their run in the NCAA baseball tournament today at noon. They are in the Santa Barbara Regional taking on the San Diego Toreros, winners of the West Coast Conference. That's over on 910 ESPN Portland as well. Pregame at 11:45. Then tonight on ESPN2, Oregon State, the national 15th seed, hosting the Corvallis Regional, takes on Tulane at 6 o'clock. PGA Tour north of the border, RBC Canadian Open Round 2 finds Robert McIntyre, David Skins, your leaders at 8 under par. Sean O'Hare, Sam Burns, 1 back at 7 under. Rory McIlroy is 4 under. He will tee off his round at 10 a.m. this morning. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Do it every morning. Dirt and Sprague. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Oh, I tell you, Jennifer, she is really a party pooper.
This is Dirt and Sprague.
Really? Jennifer poops at parties? So she poops at parties, so and people know this?
With Andy Dirt Johnson and Brendan Sprague.
I poop at parties. But people don't know because I close the door.
Dirt and Sprague on 1080.
Where do she go for it? Does she visit the water closet and make door of the open so people may see and smell things? This sounds horrible.
The Fan.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2, Dirt and Sprague underway. Odyssey app, 99.5 HD2, YouTube.com. A lot to get to in the second hour of the program.
Bring your ass.
We brought our ass.
My ass has been brought in.
His ass is sitting down.
My ass is here.
They're still looking for their ass.
Eric Gunderson's going to join us at 7:30. Want to remind you guys, Autotown GMC presents the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic on July 11th out at Langdon Farms. We've been telling you the afternoon round almost sold out. It is officially sold out. And so the morning round is filling up rather quickly. Jump on that one. Get out there early before you can try to beat the heat. You get a delicious breakfast burrito from Victor Rico's.
I still vote. That's the better round of the two. I'd rather go morning.
I tend to agree with that as well, but we're a little biased because we wake up at 4 a.m. every day. Matt's Barbecue will be on hand, serving their award-winning food. You can warm up for your round on the Michelob Ultra driving range. We will be doing our shows out there and then hanging out at the par 3 6th hole, brought to you by Doers. Sign up before some now, 1080thefan.com. Again, presented by Autotown GMC. Danny is already claiming that he's going to be borderline blackout drunk.
Oh.
He was asking me what I'm going to be drinking out there. And he said last year he almost drank a whole smaller bottle of tequila.
Oh.
And that he plans to do the same thing this year.
Okay.
And I said, I might pop a gummy.
You're going to pop an edible out there? Just getting messed up golf tournament? I like it, man.
Well, I mean, it's not like we haven't had experiences in the past.
Sure.
1080 talent
years.
doing things.
It's been a year here, a year there, or maybe it got a little out of hand.
Golf carts randomly bumping into stuff. Hopefully not, but you never know.
It's been us as a station. Remember the one time we had the Fan Madness event, and we all had a little bit too much fun? and then I think there was a tab that was left or something. And remember,
I got blamed for that.
You did.
I was accused of being one of the people that didn't pay a tab. That was one of the more. Look, I'm okay.
Thrown under the bus for that one.
I'll have some things said about me, and I really will just laugh it off. It was rather insulting to suggest that I don't pay a tab.
But didn't we find out it was Crawford? Wouldn't it end up being Crawford?
No,
didn't pay the
it
tab?
was a former engineer.
Ah, that's that's right.
I won't name names, but it was an engineer.
Names.
Look, I might not be number one, but there's nobody at the station that always pays the bill more than me.
Yeah, you always pay the bill.
I will put myself at the top of the list with any other name you want to throw out there. That was one of the more insulting things, is that I was being accused of not paying a tab.
Well, I will not drink an entire bottle of tequila at the Fan Golf Classic, but I'll enjoy a Pelican or two.
A Pelican or two?
A Pelican or two.
Little Doers?
Maybe a little Doers. Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, maybe.
I will enjoy a little Doers on the 6th. I have a hops game that night, so I can't.
You got to go to work.
Completely.
Why would you not take that day off?
I got to get home. It's a long drive.
I've already had there's already a bunch of planned days off with hops. I felt bad, kind of. I mean, I'm taking part of a homestand off when I go to Hawaii, Paxton's graduation, some other things.
You know, unfortunately, you're part of that generation that has, I feel bad about missing work. That's an unfortunate condition your generation was cursed with.
I've said I will be there and obligations and I said I'd be there. I will be there.
Yeah,
it's a job. I mean,
well, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun.
Can't wait to be out there.
July 11th. We got the NBA Finals. We'll get to that coming up. A Celtics-Mavericks NBA Finals. Who had that on their bingo card to start the NBA season?
Not me. Although our guest at 7:30 picked it to start the playoffs.
Yes, he did.
He picked Celtics over Mavs.
He's all in on the Luka experience. Kyrie playing rather well. We've got regional baseball starting.
Hell yeah, brother.
The Oregon Ducks are in the regional. Oregon State is in a regional. Oregon will start. Their first game today is at 12. Oregon State's first game is at 6. So enough time for sports fans in the beautiful state of Oregon to watch both programs try to make their way to Omaha.
Should be a fun atmosphere down in Corvallis tonight, but, hosting another regional. I know that was a point of contention, not the right word, a point of question over the last week or so is would they actually be able to host and where would they be seated? And some of the mocks had them in, hosting one, and some of them didn't, had them going on the road. But when you get a chance to host, that's a special thing. And I'm excited, man. This is the time of year. I don't watch any college baseball all season. College baseball and college basketball are almost identical to me. I don't pay attention during the regular season. I don't care that much. I watch more Oregon college basketball than I do college baseball. But last week, the Pac-12 tournament was on. You give me stuff to watch in the middle of the day. I have a very unique work schedule, man. I'm off work at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm looking for things to do in the afternoon. And so when you gave me Pac-12 tournament games during the week, it was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. Although I was expecting all those games to be like 17-16, and they were all like 2-1. My team couldn't score any runs. What the hell? I thought we had metal bats here. You give me a noon game today on a Friday, it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to sit out on the patio, watch that thing. I'm excited. You get Oregon State later tonight with chances to go to super regionals. It's going to be a lot of fun this weekend.
I really hate when websites don't list the time zones that the games are in. Instead, they put the Eastern time zone for every game, no matter where it is.
Yeah.
That quite upsets me. I know that's random. Oregon against San Diego, and it's going to be at noon on ESPNU.
And all these are on ESPN Plus, too, by the way. So if you have ESPN Plus, you can watch all the games there.
Fresno State, UC Santa Barbara, who's hosting the regional. They're the other game that night, so you stay tuned to see if Oregon beats San Diego, who they will then play, because the Game 1 loser plays the Game 2 loser, and then Game 1 winner plays the Game 2 winner, and then Game 3 winner plays the Game 4 loser, so on and so forth. Nichols versus UC Irvine in the Corvallis Regional at 1.
You guys scared of Nichols? The Nichols coming in?
I mean,
they're not a dime. They're only a nickel. Is that a good dad joke? No.
I mean, sometimes you can just hear people changing the radio station.
I think I heard chuckles. I think I heard giggles in the car.
So awful.
I think I heard a few of those out there.
I don't even know if we can move on from how bad that was. Nichols versus UC Irvine, the first matchup in the Corvallis Regional at 1. And then tonight, ESPN2, Tulane against Oregon State. I saw on the BetQL network, Oregon State, the trendy pick to come out of their own regional.
I would hope so. You're hosting.
Well, that's not always the case,
Playing
though.
a bunch of D3 schools out here. Yeah. You got a Baylor School for the Blind coming to town.
Oh, who did Ken Barkley? He gave us one yesterday.
Tulane's like 35-24.
Oklahoma
They're barely
State.
above 500.
Oklahoma State, and they're not hosting, right? No, he gave us one of team that wasn't hosting.
Oh, okay. I thought
Duke.
Yeah, it was Duke. He said Duke is the best. They're the better team, and they're not hosting the regional.
He said Oklahoma State because they were embarrassed on their home field last year in their regional. They lost their first 2 games and then had to sit and watch other teams play the regional final, and that's pretty embarrassing. So he thinks they're going to bounce back from that in Stillwater.
Do most people, you think, like the majority, pay attention to this tournament when it gets to Omaha?
Yes.
Because I would actually argue, and I'm not sitting here trying to be Mr. College Baseball Dirt. You know me.
Yeah.
Why can't you stop laughing?
Sorry,
Are you still laughing at your Nichols joke?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought I delivered it well.
I would actually argue the super regionals is when most people should start. If you're not a diehard of either one of these teams, start kind of diving into the college baseball tournament because the super regionals is just the 2 teams.
Yeah, best of 3.
Best of 3. Here you go. It's the playoff baseball model.
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier to follow.
Yeah.
Some of these formats are a little all over the place.
This winner faces that loser. This loser was that loser. This winner was that winner.
I mean, I just had that in the Pac-12 tournament last week. I'm like, Oregon State won, but they're eliminated. Okay.
I was still not really sure how that all worked. And
that's part of the problem with the Pac-12.
I got to worry about that anymore?
I don't care. This pool play thing.
I don't care. It's over.
The conference.
You don't need to explain. It's never happening
Most
again.
of them are double elimination brackets.
Yes,
so
I usually know.
So
don't lose twice.
Don't lose twice.
You can keep playing. I love this time of year when I jump on a bandwagon after not watching a sport all season. And there's so many people that are in the same camp as me. And I'm going to be loud and obnoxious. If Oregon wins that, where are we at? Santa Barbara? Suck it, Santa Barbara. We take home the Santa Barbara Regional. I'm going to be chirping from the rooftops, baby.
Boy, if you guys get to Omaha, watch out. Baseball dirt will emerge.
I mean, I think people are asking the question with the move to the Big Ten, is Oregon going to become the baseball powerhouse in the Big Ten? Because the Big Ten sucks.
They're not very good.
Is any Big Ten team even in the college baseball postseason?
Yeah, there's a couple of
Nebraska's
Indiana's in, Nebraska's in.
Okay.
God, it's still. Can I just say it still feels weird to say Nebraska with the Big Ten. Still.
And that was Nebraska's a historic baseball power, too. That was like their strength for many years. I mean, outside of football, obviously, but they've been a really good baseball program for a long time. The Big Ten sucks. I think we're just trending up, man. We're ready to dominate the Big Ten in baseball.
I'm kind of going through this list because I haven't looked at the full, outside of the Corvallis Regional.
Break it down. Who do you got? Who do you like in the Tucson Regional? Are you in on Dallas Baptist or West Virginia today? Who do you like there?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to find the Big Ten does suck in baseball.
Oh, it's horrible.
There is only one team from the Big Ten, and it's Nebraska.
I mean, Nebraska again was a Big 12 team that had the legacy built in of being good at baseball before they got to the Big Ten. It's hilarious to go from a conference where we're really good at baseball in the Pac-12.
Pretty decent, yeah.
One of our strengths.
Yeah.
Oregon State's won national championships. Arizona's always good. You got warm weather schools down south. ASU has a good history. USC has a good history. Stanford's always good. Yeah. And now you're going to the Big Ten where it's nothing but cold weather cities, basically.
Indiana's in. Illinois is in.
Oh, I guess I miss Indiana.
Are any of them hosting the regional, though, or are they all on the road?
Knoxville Regional. No. No, Lexington and Knoxville is where Indiana, Illinois are.
I think we're poised.
Nebraska's in.
Are you guys going to become a baseball school with the Big Ten move?
I'm just saying, man. We're going to win the conference every year. It's a cakewalk out there.
God, I could only imagine how
pretty much more have to deal with UCLA and USC.
That's true. The LA schools are coming with us. I forgot about that. Where's Washington at? Are they playing this weekend?
Washington was at the bottom of the conference. They were awful.
Saw their entire softball team transferred out, too.
Well, so did Oregon State's.
Well, you guys at least have an excuse.
Yeah, why did Washington's?
Great question, Bob.
Washington should be better at more sports. Is that a hot take?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Like basketball should be dominant.
They're a doormat.
And maybe they will now with the sprinkle.
Crew,
though. What?
They own Crew, though.
Cool. Winklevoss twins. Awesome. Good for them.
This is a movie from 1942. Go beat the Nazis again, all right?
You guys athletes, we row Crew. Alan Sorkin jumped the shark a little bit on that line in The Social Network, trying to act like Crew was football at a D1 level. We row Crew.
You're angry. You're going to make some people very mad this morning if we got any riverboat riders
out there. No, look, rowing Crew is a difficult...
What do they call them? Dragon boats? What are those out there on the Willamette when they're wheeling out there?
Rowing is difficult. I'm not saying it's not.
I think you just did. I think you poo-pooed rowing.
But he made the Winklevoss twins say that line as if they were like Alabama quarterback wide receiver tandem. We row.
I think you're going easy sport on me. Easy sport, not an athlete.
Just,
it's conditioning.
All right, we'll stop. I don't want to offend anybody. NBA Finals matchup. We'll get to that. Kick times announced and what that means next on The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube.
Wanted to go to college, but no money was nothing new.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
Swag looked it up. The last Big Ten team to win the title was 1966.
Looking forward to changing that narrative when we win our baseball natties.
One listener said that, Dirt, stop hating. Michigan was in Omaha last year.
Does anybody remember that?
I think largely the point still stands.
Who won the national championship last year?
Hold on. I know this. No, I don't know this. Vandy.
It was LSU.
It was LSU.
Yes, it was LSU.
Skeens.
Oh, Paul Skeens.
Skeens.
And Livy Dunn. Paul Skeens, Livy Dunn.
Livy Dunn.
Yeah, duh. It was LSU.
Duh. Totally remember.
I'm just being honest. When my team gets bumped, I tend to stop caring.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's about all I got. If Oregon or Oregon State are in it, I'll watch. Other than that, you're not getting my eyeballs. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Eric Gunderson will join us. Did you see Luka get his beer taken away from him by Michael Finley in the hallway yesterday after they beat the Timberwolves?
I did. Give that man his beer back. He earned that beer.
Why did Michael Finley do that?
Why did Michael Finley do that?
And he didn't take a drink of it either. He just took it from him, hugged his dad, and walked away. Luke was like, whoa, okay.
It's a week before game 1 of the finals.
He is a little pudgy. Maybe they're worried about his weight.
They can have a night.
Do you want a hot take? He drinks every night.
I'm going to guess.
He's Larry Bird, man.
Based on that body type, yeah. I think there's a few alcoholic beverages. Dude's been like legally able to drink since he was 11 in his home country. So I imagine he's built that up.
I'm pretty excited. You guys know I'm a hoops head. I'm a little on an island here at this station. It's kind of just me and Danny. We've planted our flags as big basketball fans. I get it. I think this is going to be a good finals matchup. You guys?
I do too. I like the narratives and the storyline.
It should be.
I'm a big narrative storyline guy. You gotta rope me in with something, right?
Kyrie versus the Leprechaun.
Yes.
KP versus Dallas.
Yeah, well, that one doesn't really do it for me, but I see the point. The Kyrie going back to Boston thing is hilarious. They're going to boo the hell out of him, and that's funny. And I always like when fan bases are angry and he pissed them off, said, I'm going to sign here. He didn't sign there. I think what it would mean for the NBA to have Luka win a championship, when you look at his pedigree, how old is he, 25 years old?
Yeah, 25.
To be 25, all the first-team All-NBAs, all the All-Stars. This is the only thing that's been missing from his trophy case, and now he's got a legitimate shot to go get it. What that would mean for the next wave of guys, I think would be great. And then Boston falling short again would be hilarious. And I'm anti-Boston. You know I'm rooting against Boston. I'm all in on Dallas winning the series. I just like the pressure that continues to build in that city with that team. How many conference finals and NBA finals are you going to get to before you make some wholesale changes and you flip things up?
Wouldn't you argue they did that, though?
Yeah.
Kyrie being back as an opposing team, I think you look at the makeup of this team, there's 2 new guys on it. 2 pretty crucial guys. And if you go back 2 years, there's 3.
Yep.
So 3 of your 5
Holiday.
is Derek White.
Yeah.
They brought him in a couple years. Like that.
It's more about a Tatum and Brown thing, I would think.
I just don't think they're ever going to address that.
And I love that the longer that they go together and don't win championships every year. I think it would be hilarious. They lose this series in 5 games. The panic that will set in the city of Boston is hilarious.
I'd be more surprised if that happened than my head being sewed to a carpet.
I would have been shocked if you
5
told me.
games?
I would have been shocked if you told me Dallas beat Minnesota in 5 games. We all said when that series started, this is going to be a long series. Everybody said this is a long series.
I get it. Isn't this a little different? A 64-win Celtic team that's been here a couple times now and been to at least the conference finals?
I still think Porzingis' 1, availability, and 2, effectiveness, that it really changes the dynamic. Dallas does not have a good matchup for Kristaps Porzingis. They don't.
Well, Kristaps Porzingis has also never played in a finals game, and I think we tend to forget about this in that sport. Those lights feel very bright.
Yeah.
I told this to Gundy, and we'll bring him on here at the bottom of the hour. I think this is going to be a good series. I certainly hope it's a good series. I kind of have a feeling of this series. There's a little bit of Ravens-Niners on the Celtics side, and the other team has Mahomes.
My fear.
Luka's far and away the best player in the series.
It's not close.
It's not a debate.
Yeah. So it's
not
like
even up for consideration.
But Boston, I think, if you were being honest here, going into the series,
Boston
they're far and away the better team,
deeper roster. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's not a debate.
They are the better team. I wouldn't use the words far and away. I just wouldn't.
Dallas was the 5 seed. Boston won 64 games. The best team in the league.
Yeah. I also think conferences has a lot to do with that.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that Boston is a 7 seed in the Western Conference, but if you put Dallas in the East, are they winning 60 games?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Dallas didn't get to this team that we see until the last third of the season with the deadline trades. So I fear that we could see games that simply become a 3-point shooting contest. That's my fear, especially if guys are bricking, where it's just go down a couple of passes. I hope that they continue. I hope the defenses are up, coming with different schemes, deciding to blitz, trap, double team, whatever they're going to do, running guys off the line, and teams are forced to play some offense. Maybe this is just old white guy screaming on the porch, but I fear, and we see it with Tatum, when the pressure gets high, he defers and hangs out on the 3-point line and just jacks stuff up.
Does Jalen take the mantle of the alpha on that team in this
He
finals?
better. Kristaps can do that too. If he's not trusting to go down and bang around in the post, he can hang out on the perimeter and just fire away. PJ Washington, the corner guys, Luka, if he starts to get in love with firing threes, it's not enjoyable basketball. Certainly if you're on a heater or the ball goes inside the post, forces double teams, it moves from side to side, and somebody's wide open all of a sudden when the ball reverses, great, fantastic. But if we're just coming down one high pick across half court and somebody's jacking up 28-footers, and you can get a couple of duds in this series.
25. Thank you for the positive words of the NBA Finals. I appreciate it.
That's my fear.
I'm going to ride with the best player, and that's why I like Dallas to win the series. I think Luka Doncic is the best player in the series. You can make an argument he's the best player in the NBA right now. He just dominated the Western Conference Finals, and these you just highlighted. These lights are bright.
Yeah.
Boston has all the pressure in the world, in my opinion, on them. Dallas is here. They were what, the 5 seed in the West? 5 seed in the West. You're like, oh my God, Dallas is in the NBA Finals.
They beat the 4, the 3, and the 1.
Boston has been here year in and year out. And the last time that they were here, how did their star play?
Well, he didn't play particularly well.
He was horrible.
But he's at least familiar with those lights.
Sure, so is Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving's come up with big shots and big moments. And if I have a tight game late and I have the ball in the hands of Luka Doncic or Jason Tatum, who do you trust more?
Well, it's Luka. It's not close.
Not close. It's not a debate.
But here's my I'll ask you this question, then we'll go to Gundy. Do you put Drew? I think I put Drew on Kyrie. I know he's my best defender, but Jimmy Butler showed me last year a bigger body dude can still muscle him a little bit, bully him back, and get his if he wants to. So I don't want to waste the Drew Holiday defense on Luka.
Try and take away
Kyrie.
I
would put Derek White on Luka.
Go a little smaller, a little more quick and agile, and okay, I can.
And I
see
would
that.
hound him.
Not Jaylen Brown,
Pete.
huh?
No, I want Jaylen Brown trying to play I want him getting steals. See if he can play in the passing lanes.
Okay.
Let the other
PJ
guys.
Washington.
Yeah.
See, because I think Tatum's going to be on Washington. I'm fascinated to see who they put Drew on because I think I want Drew on Kyrie, and I'm kind of taking my lumps with Luka, but I'm hoping I shut Kyrie down so much.
Yeah, chop one of the heads of the snake off.
Yeah, you chop that head off, and we know Drew's capable of doing that. And Kyrie's been amazing, but
yeah.
I'm fascinated at the matchups we have. And also, by the way, underrated, the Jason Kidd, Joe Mazzulla. Jason Kidd has done a pretty good job turning his reputation around here.
Yes, he has.
I thought inserting Hardy into the rotation in the playoffs was a really smart, underrated move if you followed what Dallas was this year and who he's been for them. And the role guys for Dallas, they've been money. But again, these lights get bright. None of those, from Charlotte to the NBA Finals, is quite a switch to go through in a season. Let's talk about this matchup a little more. Maybe dabble in a little bit of Blazer talk. Eric Gunderson will join us. Gundy joins us live from the Porcelain next on the Ticker on the Fan.
Now from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Big's Chicken. Try their smoked and fried wings tossed with the perfect dry rub, served with a killer trio of sauces. Menus at bigschicken.com. First on the Fan, yes, that NBA Finals matchup is now set. The Mavericks will take on the Celtics starting on Thursday. They closed out the Timberwolves in grand fashion. Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, each with 36. It was a waltz, 124-103 over Minnesota. Road teams 3 for 5 so far in the Eastern Conference Finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Panthers spoiled the party at Madison Square Garden Thursday with a 3-2 win. They're up 3-2, going back to Florida for Game 6 Saturday. Tonight it's Game 5 in the Western Conference Finals. Stars and Oilers knotted up at 2 games apiece. Puck drops 5:30 on 910 ESPN Portland. We'll have pregame coverage starting at 5 o'clock. Ducks and Beavers start the long road to Omaha today in regional action. Oregon in the Santa Barbara Regional. They will take on the WCC champion San Diego Toreros. First pitch at noon. You'll hear it on 910 ESPN Portland. Pregame at 11:45. The Beavers are hosting the Corvallis Regional as the number 15 national seed. They get Tulane at 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN2. Round 2 of the U.S. Women's Open. After only 4 players were in red numbers following round 1, Minjee Lee has grabbed the lead in the second round at 2 under par. 3 players still at 1 under. Lexi Thompson +9, Nelly Korda +10. Can they rally today with an expected cut line somewhere around +7? More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand with the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The home of prime time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7, 1080 The Fan. Bird and Sprague visit with the insiders that are covering the stories you've heard about, and some you haven't.
How'd you do that? Actually, I'm not even mad. It's amazing.
The Daily Ticker with Dirt and Sprague is poured by Pelican Brewing. Be ready for your next afternoon vacation with Beak Breaker Tropical. Pelican Brewing, born at the beach.
Hey, the Daily Ticker brought to you by Pelican Brewing. Visit pelicanbrewing.com for more details on locations, events, award-winning beers, independently brewed since 1996. Pelican Brewing, Born at the Beach. We're going to get pretty loosey-goosey in the last hour and a half of the show. Just going to warn you now, I got some fun with audio. It's a Friday. We're feeling good. The sun's out. And it kind of begins now because whenever we talk to our good buddy, Eric Gunderson, we're feeling good. At Blazer Banter on Twitter. Go give him a follow. Check out the Blazer Banter Substack. Gundy, good morning to you. I'm going to start with the latest mock draft that just came out. The synergy on this segment is perfect. I have a Jonathan Gavoni mock draft that just got dropped, and I'm going to put a microphone in front of Eric Gunderson's face and get his reaction. With the 7th overall pick, the Portland Trailblazers select Donovan Clingan, center, UConn. And with the 14th overall pick, the Portland Trailblazers select Cody Williams, guard / forward from Colorado. Gundy, your reaction if that is the draft night?
You know what? I like it. I mean, I don't have Clingan on my list, but, I mean, the dude is 7'3" and is dominant in college. And I know they already have DA, but, like, we know what's going on with him. I mean, it's not exactly like he's talented, but like sometimes it's always about trying to unlock it. And he makes way more money than Donovan Clingan. And if Clingan is good, that could open up a potential way to trade. So I mean, I think that could be a great play. And Cody Williams, I've said before, I like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cody Williams kind of gets me excited. I know he's registered pretty skinny for a lot of people, but I'm like, he'd be in an NBA weight program. He could figure that thing out. I like the size, the athleticism, the ability to finish is pretty good. What do you make of the finals, Gundy? We got Mavs, Celtics. We were talking about that. Swag's worried we're going to have a dud of games because of three-point shooting. Dirt loves the narratives. Kyrie saging the leprechaun. Where was Eric Gunderson once it was confirmed we had Mavs, Celtics? How do we feel about this matchup?
I mean, I can't wait because, I mean, we talked about all the Kyrie stuff, but, I mean, for me, Luka, like the guy he's born in the EuroLeague. He loves these crazy atmospheres. And last night, again, the crowd's against him. They're going after him, and he just delivers another just like steal your heart game. And it's just like if all those Boston fans are going to be going super hard against Kyrie, like, I could just feel like Luka getting the anger getting turned up, and I cannot wait to see him in the Garden. I think that they've got a chance.
How do you feel about that backcourt and the way it started and the way it's developed? Because I remember that being a very controversial trade, and my dumbass was one of the only people that was like, I mean, I kind of like it just because you're trying something, and you always fear about stars walking away, and if you don't surround him with, so they tried the Porzingis thing, it didn't work out.
It was ballsy at that time,
it was
Kyrie
very ballsy.
Was in the midst
Not
of his,
great.
Yeah,
things weren't great with him.
I mean, I definitely didn't like it at the time. I thought it was dumb. I didn't. Like when they started playing last year, I remember they had a game against Phoenix after their trade too, and Phoenix looked like the better duo than Kyrie and Luka. And then you fast forward to this year, they just like have a synergy and like a telepathy almost. They're like the Wonder Twins. Like they just always understand when someone. It's not your turn, my turn. They're like in an actual like flow. They're like a real team, and it's like it just happens so fast. And I was down on the Mavs before the season started, but then watched a couple games. There was one game against the Lakers in I think it was in December where Kyrie and Luka they just took over the game, and it was just they were locked in, flowing so well. And obviously they had to make some trades to get better, but they just the way that they've evolved and understood, and I think also Kyrie just like understands that it's Luka's team, but Luka also understands that sometimes he needs help, and Kyrie can give him the help that he needs, especially in a close game.
Despite what Bill Simmons may say and has been saying, I want to be on the record and fair here. I've been wondering kind of throughout this season if Jalen was kind of becoming the alpha of this, despite the Tatum commercials, the Tatum conversation. Brown wins the conference finals MVP. Do you think he carries them to a title? I know they're a good team. They're a complete team. So I don't want to take anything from Drew or Kristaps. Is it Jason Tatum that puts him over the top? Is it Jaylen Brown? How do you feel about the Celtics and the pressure they face going in against Dallas?
I mean, I think the best thing for Jalen and Jalen Brown. I mean, Jalen Brown was, I thought, very deserving of the MVP. He made the biggest shot of the series. It seems like he's, almost like the emotional leader of the team. Like he kind of, gets them to rally. But really, I think actually the guy that was really, turning things around for them and really got them over the hump was Drew Holiday. In the last series, he was guarding Halliburton. He forced all those turnovers. He's making the right cuts late, and shout out to the Blazers for hooking it up for hooking it up to Boston, because if they don't do that trade, I don't think they're here.
Yeah, shout out to the Crone Zone, man. The Crone Zone got that one done for the Celtics. Are we building a statue of Bill Walton?
I mean, statue. I've also heard about. I've also seen some suggestions of like a cool mural outside. Like I think there's got to be something outside the arena for Bill Walton and that team. Like there just has to be. Like it's the only championship, and he was like he's the legend, and I think we talked about having Dame have a statue, and it's like I think that would be great too. But I mean, like the fact that Walton doesn't have one or some kind of honor outside of the arena with him and Maurice Lucas or Jack Ramsey, like they have to have something out there too for him.
Aren't we too statue thirsty? It's kind of getting embarrassing for us as a city, in my thought. It's like every day we have a new argument about a statue. Why you gotta be a statue? We're so desperate for statues.
I'm with you. I think we could be creative. I mean, this is we're supposed to be a creative town. I think. I think we could do a mural. We could do something else cool. Like I don't like almost like a walk of fame or something. Like I don't know.
Why not have a section of seats be tie-dyed?
I mean, what if they take like what the Clippers are doing and like do like the tie-dye section,
the fan zone or whatever.
Well, that section between the ticket box, the box office, and the Moda, and there's that like doctor right there in that like alleyway of the Moda Center. I thought if you were gonna do statue, you do Statue Alley. And then we just shut everybody up. Everybody that you want to have a statue, there's like 7 statues. It's almost like the 76ers practice facility. You just walk down that alleyway, and there's statues on the left and right. Since we seemingly have like 10 people that everybody wants to have a statue.
I think we should build one of the free throw guy in his seat.
Statue
in the seat, constantly standing up. What do you think about that, Gundy?
As long as his girlfriend's there cuddling people.
Free throw guy and tan Portland Ken.
Yes.
What about Dancing Lady? I mean, where's Dancing Lady's statue?
Dancing Lady.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it. Maybe they all get like a Hall of Fame bust.
Yeah, there we go.
We need white guy with painted face with Brian Grant dreadlocks that shows up to this game. Like everybody, the Rasta Monster fan. Like
this is fantastic.
We're too thirsty for statues, man. We really are.
Last one for you, Gundy, before we let you go and get back to your morning poo.
He's in the country somewhere.
You're in the country? Where are you?
I'm out past Vernonia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Vernonia. Is Gundy still? Now you've had more time to look at these guys and the comps and the mocks and all that. Are we still anti-guard? Is Gundy still an anti-guard, or are you leaning on Sprague's argument of you suck, best player available?
Dopage.
I still think I'd lead no guard. I like Topic, and he does play a different style than our other guards. He's more of like a connecting, passing guy. So maybe that could work, but I'm still leaning like, especially when like these guys are all like the word on the street with this draft is like it's a bunch of role players. Like I think maybe like this could be one of the years where you're like maybe we're picking for fit instead of just BPA, because these guys, it's not really like we're getting a star either way is what it feels like at 7 and 14.
Yeah. Are you outside of Vernonia for work or pleasure?
Oh, pleasure. I'm out here because it's nice, man. You guys talk about the sun out. It's great.
It is, yeah. It's a beautiful morning. That is true. Well, there you go. Blazer Banter on Twitter. Go give him a follow. Eric Gunderson, Blazer Banter Substack. Go check it out as we get closer and closer to the NBA draft. And the man who correctly picked at the start of the playoffs, the NBA Finals match.
And go check out his last Substack piece. It was really touching. He did a Bill Walton kind of tribute, and he tied in, much like you've shared Dirt on the show, with your dad and his stories.
Yeah.
He shares some really good stuff with his dad's experience growing up when Bill Walton was playing and what that was like and tying them together. It was really well done.
Well, enjoy pooping in the woods. Enjoy the sunshine. And thanks, Gundy. We always enjoy it, man.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Beautiful timing after I said he wrote a beautiful piece about his father who's just passed away and Bill Walton. And then you said, hey, have a good poop. Bye.
I mean, pooping in the woods is a bit of a conundrum, you know? It's not easy to do. It's one of the reasons I'm anti-camping.
Yeah, well.
Where do you go? You go on a tree? You got to go lean
somewhere?
somewhere?
Where do you camp? I mean, there's usually toilets at campgrounds.
Not if you're doing it the real way.
Oh, yeah, one of those camp trips. Okay.
The Daily Ticker is brought to you by Pelican Brewing. Visit pelicanbrewing.com for more details on locations, events, award-winning beers, independently brewed since 1996. Pelican Brewing, born to the beach. Let's dive into this Gavoni mock draft. I'm excited because it's all over 6'6". How do you feel about that? If that is the way that Portland goes about a month from now, I'll remind you of what Gavoni has in his latest mock, and that is Klingon at number 7, the center from UConn, 7'3", and then Cody Williams, the forward from Colorado. We'll get into that, some college football stuff at the top of the hour. Back after this on The Fan.
Who's stinking it up?
Woo! Do not go in there.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up, a sports lowlight that's ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by Three Mountains Plumbing. Schedule your appointment online at threemountainsplumbing.com.
We never clicked all together as a team in this series. Not even one game. I think that was the main thing. The last two series, we was all clicking at one time, making shots and stuff. We wasn't clicking at one time there.
Yeah, there's Anthony Edwards post-game. Timberwolves get housed in Game 5. Dallas goes to the finals. Luka and Kyrie outscored the Timberwolves as a team in the first half.
I still think Ant Edwards is him. He's only 22 years old. It was a remarkable run to eliminate Denver. They got an interesting thing to do with Karl Anthony Towns. Maybe they run it back. Maybe there's no other moves. They're still clearly a good team. But curious to see how they handle this offseason.
Who's stinking it up? Minnesota in the conference finals, brought to you by Three Mountains Plumbing. Make plumbing and electrical services delightful. Let the pros tackle the projects you need completed. Schedule an appointment online. Three Mountains Plumbing. That's threemountainsplumbing.com.
Dirt and Sprague crunch the hot topics you want to hear.
What's the pressure? Don't sit here and act like there's no... We get nervous teeing off in front of a gallery on the 10th hole at Eastmoreland.
Crunch Time, brought to you by Crunch Fitness, with memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com.
Morning Crunch brought to you by Crunch Time. Crunch Time is brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 a month. Took me a second to find my read. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver online at crunch.com. We will get to some college football notes coming up at the top of the hour, and I'm very eagerly awaiting our Fun with Audio segment that I have planned for 8:15. Very excited about this. A question to ponder. What is the moon? Just think about that. File it away. What is...
Like the moon outside of the Earth?
What is the moon?
Okay.
Just noodle on that one.
Are your pants down?
You got 25 minutes to figure out what the moon is. I hope Papa Swigart is listening at 8:15. We will spring the line at 8:30, so get your fake sponsors in to the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. I'll ask you the question I asked Gundy. I tell you, with 7-14, the Blazers take home Donovan Clingan, center from UConn.
Yeah.
And Cody Williams, forward from Colorado. Grade the draft.
I give it an A.
I mean, it's not a guard, so I'm excited about it. Fits my narrative.
I don't know if there's any picks that I grade it less than any. What?
You going automatic A here? You going easy A on me?
I
Come
think
on.
draft grades are stupid.
I mean,
They are
it's
stupid.
the dumbest thing we do.
I will tell you, I would be genuinely curious about their ability to provide something both right away and in the future actually be a part of whatever is going. That would pique my curiosity. I would probably tune in for some summer league games.
Oh, wow.
I would.
Clingan and Williams will get you to be excited for summer league basketball.
If that's what you ended up with in the draft.
Those are two players we both watched all year.
I know those names. I've seen them play.
Yeah.
Certainly providing, hopefully, a dynamic that this team is sorely in need of. What can they do? How quickly can they become effective at the defensive end of the floor to try to short things up there, allow you to be more competitive more often in games and not just get rolled and have to outshoot teams to beat them. So, yeah, if you get Topic, if you take two more guards, I'm just scratching my head going, what are you trying to do? This is the whole thing of, if Chauncey is back, if he's a lame duck, give me something that says we have a direction and a plan to go forward. I don't need you to tell me or guarantee me it's going to work. Who knows if it's going to work? But, yeah, I would feel a little bit more optimistic that at least somebody somewhere has an idea of a concept of how to put a group together.
Did you just give your own take and cap it off with a yeah?
He agreed with himself.
You agreed with yourself.
Take.
That was amazing.
That was well played.
Let me ask you. So Topic, right?
This guy's right. He's really smart.
Man, I'm good right now. So if they take Topic, right, who has been mocked in previous mock drafts, 6'6" kid, European kid.
What are we doing?
Well, they took a player they really like.
Okay.
So you're cool with them taking somebody but if you don't know them, you're out?
No, I don't think it's not that I don't know him, but he's a guard, correct?
He's a 6'6" playmaker. It's not like he's a standard 5'10" point guard.
You sound like a politician right now. Answer the question. Is he or is he not a guard? He's a playmaker.
My question
what
would
the
be,
hell does
okay,
that mean?
Then what's the next move? Who's getting moved off the roster?
Is this the draft to react like that to? Whether you get Clingan or Topic?
Well, I just think to his point, like if you get Topic and there has to be something.
What do you mean?
You cannot have Shaden, Scoot, Ant, and Malcolm Brogdon on the same team with who's
going to play?
How do you
Is
play?
he actually going to play?
But
if he's going to play, then something else has to give. Somebody's got to go.
So you guys think if they take a Topic, even though we're getting way off of the original mock today.
Yes.
You guys think they're just going to roll in with all of those players?
It wouldn't shock me.
You don't think they'll trade Brogdon? You don't think they'll trade Ant?
I would hope that they would.
I won't. My curiosity won't be piqued until they make those moves.
Yes. I agree with that.
But they might not make those moves till after the draft.
I understand that. But I'm not tuning in to Summer League games to see Topic. I'm really not.
Somebody texting in.
Why would you not want to see Topic?
Because I don't know if he's actually going to be part of it or not.
Is Cody Williams? If he falls to 14 in the crappiest of drafts, that makes you feel good?
Yeah, but there's a need for Portland to find talent at whether he plays 3 or 4, somebody that can do something.
They might have a 6'6" kid who becomes, a dynamic playmaker for him.
What did Williams measure at the combine?
I don't see a Pat.
6'7".
6'7".
He's 6'7", 178. He quite literally weighs 8 pounds more than me.
6'7", forward, height requirement met, over 6'6". He's okay.
Okay, all right. What is this conversation?
Somebody texted in, what are the chances that Dirt will have heard of both Blazer lottery picks? Dude, that's a great point. If this is the draft, I'm thrilled because I've seen these guys play. I know who they are.
Yeah.
Here is the Gavoni. By the way, he has a little, summation after every pick.
Is
quickly.
it just Gavoni or is Wu on there too?
Let me scroll up to the top.
Because usually they've been double tag teaming.
Yes,
these things.
Wu and Gavoni.
Pick by pick.
Combo platter.
All right.
He says of drafting Klingon, it's hard to see a scenario in which Klingon, the number 3 player on our big board, falls to number 7, but the Blazers would be ecstatic with this outcome, driven by the fact that Houston, San Antonio, Detroit, and Charlotte all have centers in place in whom their front offices are already invested. There's chatter around the league that teams such as Portland, Memphis, and Chicago might look to move up to draft Klingon earlier than this, but in this mock scenario, he falls. He brings size, length, defensive prowess, nonstop intensity, passing ability, along with back-to-back national championships. Plenty of room for growth alongside the Blazers core that is only 20 years old. And then of Cody Williams, he says, Williams has drawn strong interest from teams in the top 10, including Charlotte, San Antonio, and Utah. Another viable landing spot would be Portland, where his size and defensive upside make for an appealing fit along with the Blazers guards. His draft stock hit a bit of a flux as he struggled towards the back end of Colorado season, but lottery teams with an eye on long-term development view him as a viable player. The direction Portland ultimately decides to go here might hinge on what it decides to do with the number 7 overall pick, but Williams, who once was viewed as a possible top 5 pick, is now ranked number 14 on ESPN's Top 100, would be a good value pick should he fall here. So that's a summation from Gavoni and Jeremy Wu, who have them taking Klingon and William at 7 and 14.
And I think Wu does an exceptional job. I think on Swag's point, like having players you're familiar with certainly helps the excitement of it. Nobody covering this draft, not a single soul, knows anything about these prospects.
No clue.
You can write and say as much as you want. You have not a clue if any of these players are going to be good or helpful or impactful. So if it's Klingon and Williams, cool. I'm excited about that. If they think Topic is there at 7 and they love him, cool. I'm in on that.
By the way, in this mock, they have Topic going 10th to the Jazz.
There you go.
So falling a little bit.
Well, there's another mock that has him going 5th. So that's what this draft is.
All over the map, baby.
From 14 to 2 and maybe even 1, it's just kind of all debatable.
Yeah.
And most drafts have the same kind of guys at 1, 2. But largely, there's a lot of swinging going on between these mocks.
Sprague the Line coming up at 8:30. Some fun with audio I'm very excited about in 15 minutes. We'll start, though, with college football in the final hour. Don't go anywhere. Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
I'd like to say something.
This is Dirt and Sprague.
Back in 82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin quarter mile.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
With Andy Dirt Johnson and Brendan Sprague.
God, there was 1 week when you wore sweatpants every day.
Oh, you know what? If they were Sean John sweatpants, it would have been fine. But because they're Costco brand, it's like the worst thing I could do.
Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
Hey, let's do this. Final hour. Dirt and Sprague here on Portland Sports Leader. 1080 The Fan, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app. To the room, Daddy! Oh, look at that! Live on YouTube, hanging out on a Feel Good Friday. What is the moon? Coming up in 10 minutes.
Can't wait to find out.
You're going to learn today.
Am I going to learn something new about the moon?
Scientific studies coming up in 10 minutes. We'll talk about moons and stars and suns and all of that. Sprague a line at 8:30. Get your fake sponsors into the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326.
I put up a poll in the latest NBA mock draft. Gavoni and Wu have the Blazers taking. Donovan Clingan, number 7. Cody Williams, number 14. Do you like these picks? Yes or no? We've already got one response from Deal. No idea who they are, but sure.
I mean, even I know who these guys are, and I don't watch college basketball, so you should know who these guys are. Like, Klingen's played in back-to-back national championship games.
You need to know who Klingen is.
I mean, that's one at least that I know.
You're not watching.
I think he's quite literally saying, I don't watch college basketball.
I'm not watching anything.
I think that's what he is saying.
You know me, buddy. It doesn't take much to make my needle move, and we got some kick times announced in college football.
Oh, God, I saw this and thought of you.
How do you not? And you teased something earlier that you have not paid off yet that I'm genuinely curious of. So first, for those who you've all seen this, but we're going to talk about it, damn it, because I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
We have kick times announced. I'll start with Oregon, their first 3 games. I don't know if we had already known the Civil War. Had they already announced that one, or was that one a new batch yesterday?
The kick time was new.
Okay.
They were still waiting. I think at one point there was an either or.
That's what it was.
Depending on
when Oregon State's schedule came out. It was like 12:30 or 4:30 or whatever. So Oregon's season will begin at home against Idaho. The Mighty Vandals are coming to town. Catch the fever. 4:30 kick on the Big Ten Network.
Ugh.
Week 2, you host Boise State. I stumbled upon a subgroup of Boise State people on Twitter who are very confident they're going to win this game last night.
How did you do that?
It popped up in my For You feed because I think Oregon was mentioned.
Okay.
And it went down this whole rabbit hole of Boise State fan is upset. The game kicks at 7 o'clock. It's a night game on the Peacock. And they're very upset because when they upset Oregon, nobody will see it because it's on a streaming app. And unless you're a fan of Oregon or Boise State, you're not watching that game at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. And then the Civil War in Corvallis, 12:30 on Fox. There is your first 3 games for the Oregon Ducks.
7 o'clock on the Cock Network's pretty awful.
It's not great, Bob.
It's pretty terrible.
You're also playing Boise State, who just fired their head coach and has not been relevant in a decade.
No, I don't know if that's fair.
I mean,
haven't they been pretty decent?
They just fired Andy Avalos.
No, I mean prior to you said a decade. You're going back a long time.
I mean, Avalos was there for like 5 years.
Was he?
I think so.
I don't feel like he was there for 5 years.
Let's see. With Harsin, I guess they had some 10
They were winning some
with
seasons with 10 wins. I mean, they weren't beating Oklahoma in a big bowl game, but they were.
Avalos was there for 3 years. So the last 4, I think they won 8 games last year.
Yeah.
So they had 5 wins in the COVID year. That was that dumb year. Then the Harsin left for Auburn. They went 7-5, 10-4, 8-5.
Rallied around the interim coach after they fired Avalos.
They did. Yes, they did.
Yeah. I mean, I teased it earlier. UW got worst of a handout to them than Oregon did.
Yeah, we can pull up the old Washington schedule.
5 of their games are not on traditional television.
Well, no, they're not.
That's a pretty big number there, Bob.
Well, I think the tough part for them, and this is true with Oregon as well, that was maybe too low of a blow for Boise State, and I apologize to our Bronco fans out there. The problem with Washington is their first 2 games are against Weber State in Eastern Michigan, I believe.
Yeah, and I get it.
Like, who the hell wants to watch that or air that?
I would argue all of the Oregon, Idaho, nobody cares.
That's why you're on the Big Ten Network. That's a game that would have been on the Pac-12 Network, and it's on the Big Ten Network.
That broadcast is going to be more about introducing the Ducks to the Big Ten watchers.
I mean, it's just, I mean, it's game 1 of the season. 4:30, I'm fine with that. That's a beautiful kick time in September. I love that. I'm all over it. But these get nobody wants to watch Washington play Weber State. I'm surprised it's even on a television at all.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. There's a part of me Like if Washington has 2 Friday games on Fox, 2 Saturday on Big Ten Network, and 1 on the Cock Network.
Yeah, the Apple Cup is a Peacock game at 12:30 on the 14th.
You can give me who they're playing all you want, and I won't argue some of the points. They were in the national championship.
Yeah.
Would there be another team in a conference of that magnitude coming off of a title season that would get 5 of their 12 games not on Saturday on TV?
That's a good question.
Look, I'm
trying to think.
We can all say Washington's not going to be what they were last year. There's no even Husky fan. But come on, man. Like, give them a little bit more respect. And 5 of the 12
Let me ask you this.
2 on Friday, 2 on the network, and 1 on the Cock Network?
Nobody will remember the answer to this. I'm going to ask you an impossible question.
Yes.
How many nationally televised games do you remember TCU playing last year? I know the
Colorado one.
Colorado game,
and that
for
was
sure.
pretty early.
That was I think it was the first game of the year.
I think they had another Fox one later in the year against Baylor. I'll have to go and see if I'm right on the opponent there.
Because that would be the comp of it's a team that we clearly knew wasn't going to be that good again. They lost most of their squad.
Yeah.
Huskies lost their coach. TCU didn't lose their coach. And they were not on the forefront of people's minds.
Yeah, but TCU had just fired their coach the year prior to that, correct?
I believe that was Sonny Dykes' first year at TCU, yeah.
The year,
they went to the title year.
Yeah, so they had just been down. They fired they'd parted ways, however they labeled it, with their former coach.
Gary Patterson.
UW won 10 games the year before, 11 if you count the bowl game.
They did.
So it wasn't like, and they were a preseason favorite for a lot of people. It wasn't like they came in as a relative unknown.
Out of nowhere, yeah.
TCU was
That's
an
fair.
absolute unknown going into that year.
That's fair, yeah. The Huskies schedule, they kick against Weber State at 8 p.m. kick at home, Big Ten Network.
What are we doing, 8 p.m.?
And then I believe it's Eastern Michigan. Is that their week 2 opponent? I just see a big E on the graphic. I'm assuming it's Eastern Michigan, 12:30 on the Big Ten Network.
It used to be a dangerous game.
It did. And then they get the Apple Cup in week 3, and that is on the Peacock, and that is a 12:30 kick. They're waiting for the USC game time. They're not quite sure. Like, a lot of these conference games still haven't been announced.
You would agree,
other
though,
than the Friday night games. Those are the only ones so
if
far.
Oregon had the season UW just had, and they were close, but if they had gone to the title game, beaten Texas in the playoff,
yeah,
and that was what they got out of 5 of their 12 games, you'd be pissed, right?
Yeah, I mean, there would be a little frustration there, but I also, again, like, the hard part for me with the Huskies is not only what they lost in terms of their team talent and their coach going to Alabama. Like, if they were playing, who's a good non-conference, they were playing, let's say they're playing the LSU game that USC's playing.
Mm-hmm.
That game's not on the Big Ten Network or the Peacock.
No.
Right? That game's on ESPN or it's on Fox or it's on, it's on a major CBS, NBC. Somebody's picking it up. Part of the problem is and Oregon and Idaho is the same thing with this. Like, Boise State fan can be as upset as they want. Like, you're not a national draw. That's not a big-time non-conference game. So you're not going to get eyeballs on Fox or CBS or NBC. You'll get those when you play your Big Ten matchups later in the season outside of your Friday night games.
I thought this was an interesting observation, and it was something that had kind of stuck out to me early on. And Stuart Mandel was the one that tweeted it. CBS's early season lineup, this is their first year post-SEC.
Yes.
Which is, I thought, a bigger deal, and people didn't talk about it enough, that you're losing the best conference in college football.
They're getting a nibble of the Big Ten. They're like third-tier Big Ten network.
August 31st. These are the first 3 weeks. August 31st, you get Akron, Ohio State, UCLA, Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay, you get a couple duds. September 7th, Iowa State, Iowa. September 14th. Notre Dame, Purdue, Colorado State.
I mean, that game will get 800 million people to watch it, but yes, I see your point.
But yeah, I mean, just it's kind of a brutal little start for CBS.
Here's what I'm curious
SEC.
of, no doubt about it.
And they have early season non-SEC games. Oregon State, San Jose State was certainly one of these.
Yes, they don't have SEC games. They didn't have SEC games until conference play began in years past, so they only had the SEC-only games. So their non-conference slate was always not very good. But I think the question for them will be, how bad is the Big Ten slate you're going to get?
And that's what I would worry about. Now, I'm pretty excited to watch my punts battle the Cyclones on September 7th.
Tornadoes and punts. How many eyeballs is that Colorado State game going to get, by the way?
Colorado might have a loss on that schedule already, so I could see that.
You go North Dakota State on me?
You think their ratings are going to carry over the same way? Because I don't.
I do. I think they will.
I think if they're kind of the same team as last year, and they might be worse because they've lost a lot. I don't know, man. I don't know if that juice is still there.
We have some kick times for Oregon State that were announced as well. A lot of their schedule was already released, and we talked about it when it came out, but they had a few of the games that were oars. At San Diego State in early September, it's a 7:30 game. That's road game. CBS Sports Network. I mentioned the Civil War will be on Fox at 12:30. Their game at Nevada will be a 4:30 kick time. CBS Sports Network at Air Force, and that one's in November, will be a CBS Sports Network game as well. That's a 12:30 kick. And then how about waking up early on Black Friday? You go get your TVs and you get a Boise State game on Black Friday on the road at Boise. They kicks at 9 a.m. on Fox.
How about that?
Black Friday early morning special, 10 a.m. Boise time.
Yeah.
You get a big nooner on Black Friday.
I'm not mad.
You're not mad about that?
I mean, look, we've talked about this for years. Yeah. I'm not one of those people that cares if it's 9 a.m., especially if I'm not going to the game. I'd rather just wake up and have football on my television.
It's a road game. It's not a home game. So it's a road game. You wake up and you're watching it on TV.
Exactly. Yeah. Why am I mad?
Yeah, it's the 9 a.m. game is great for fans at home because you wake up and there's something to watch right away.
Yes.
It sucks for the people that want to go and tailgate and you want to set up and all that. Boise, that's a 10 a.m. How groggy is that fan base going to be? 10 a.m. local time the day after Thanksgiving, all that tryptophan in your system?
I still maintain. Well, that's a sneaky good point.
Everybody just waking up drunk and hungover.
I still argue. I still think the Pac-12 after dark stuff is harder just because it ruins your Sunday.
It does eat your next day.
You can at least on an early Saturday, as early as you got to get up and as frustrating as it is for many people, game gets done, you get home, you take a little napski.
Take a little nappy.
You take a little napski, you wake up, you watch the night slate of football, you go to sleep, you wake up, normal Sunday.
And not to forget about our Cougar brethren, they actually got a decent little slate here. So they get their Texas Tech game, which was an offshoot of Oregon and Oregon State scheduling because Oregon, remember, was supposed to play Texas Tech this year at Autzen. And then they booted the game to Washington State so they could play Oregon State. So they get Texas Tech at home. That's a game at on Fox early in the season. That's a home game for them. Night game, 7 o'clock.
Would have been cool if the Pirate was still alive and still coaching.
Yeah, it's the Mike Leach Bowl, man. Yeah. You get Washington, as I mentioned, in the Apple Cup. That's a Peacock game at 12:30. The Boise State game has not been – some of their other times haven't been announced. San Diego State will be a road game at 7:30 in October. They're still waiting on a few others, but a chance for some FS1 and Fox games against Boise State, Fresno State, and New Mexico State. So they got a chance to have some decent eyeballs this year. So there you go. Some kick times announced. You teased earlier one kick time that I wasn't going to be happy about. Was it the night game, Boise State game?
Yeah, it sucks.
It does. I'm not staying for that game, though. So I'll be down there and,
You do the pregame, you get home.
You do the pregame, and I get home.
That's the cool thing about doing it 2 hours before their pregame is you get done, you got a 2-hour window to get home. It's usually enough time.
Yeah, it's not one that I'm too interested in. Maybe Boise State fans laughing at me after that one because they do have a good track record against us in the regular season, but I think
Have you guys...
I think we've beaten Boise State.
I think
we have.
They've had some good years where they've randomly here they are.
Yeah, damn you, Broncos.
I don't know if they're supposed to be. Are they supposed to be top notch in their conference this year?
I don't think so.
I should probably start studying up on this. I am a Mountain West powerhouse.
That you are, Bob. That you are. Let's have some fun with audio. What is the moon? And she did it again. Next on the Fan.
It's time for a sports injury report. The injuries and rehab that impact the success of sports teams. Brought to you by Rock Orthopedic.
Lindor's aboard to get it started. Something's wrong with Zach Gallen. He immediately reacted after throwing that pitch, and Gino Suarez calling for the trainer.
Worst broadcast crew in baseball. Zach Gallen, hamstring injury after 5 pitches. The Diamondbacks off for their World Series run last year, 25-31 early in the season.
Yeah, struggling in that division. They're behind, obviously, all of the teams, Giants, Padres, etc. Not a great follow-up year. Terrible news for them. Only 3.5 back of the final wild card spot, but not great when you hear this.
Got to keep reminding people how many teams make the playoffs now in baseball. Sports Injury Report presented by Rock Orthopedic, board-certified specialists who diagnose and treat the widest range of orthopedic cases with care and expertise. To schedule an appointment with Mark Wagner, visit ROCPDX.com.
The Fan Merch Locker is now open.
The T-shirts are made. The T-shirts
out. I didn't even realize this. The Civil War and Apple Cup. I just read the kick times. That's how stupid I am. The Civil War and Apple Cup kick at the same time. They're both at 12:30 on the same day.
Now, has that ever happened that I'm not remembering?
I feel like we used to be different days, Black Friday or the Saturday. I feel like we would always kind of flip-flop. The Civil War would bounce back and forth. The Apple Cup would bounce back and forth.
And if it was on the same day, if that ever happened...
They weren't kicking at the same time,
No,
that's for
I always
sure.
felt like they were opposites. One was earlier, one was night.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I mean, you got to watch... two games at once.
Tough on me. I have to
darn.
watch 2 football games.
Oh, darn.
My life's difficult.
Brandon Sprague, what is the moon?
It's a moon.
Okay. It's a good answer.
It's a floating-ass rock next to Earth. There's an American flag on that thing.
There's been a thing going viral recently on Twitter that's like funniest moments in live television history, and it's just people like clipping different things and quote tweeting it, and I have laughed my ass off on so many of these that have popped up, and there's great newsreels and people doing funny things and falling over, a million different things that have made me laugh. This one, though, was just too good, and I knew we have a science pedigree on the show. I'm clearly a science genius. Swag's dad taught science for many years.
I loved Breaking Bad.
You loved Breaking Bad. You know how to cook meth now.
Science, bitch.
So this is our strength as a show, and this is from the Home Shopping Network.
Science Channel.
And I don't really remember why they brought up the moon, but just enjoy the conversation about what is the moon. And then a producer ends up giving them the answer.
Beautiful, rich
It almost
experience.
kind of looks like what the Earth looks like when you're a bazillion miles away from the planet Moon.
Yes, I just squinted
moon,
at it,
from
and you're
the
right.
moon, looking back
from
at
the
the
planet
Earth.
Moon. From the planet
Isn't the moon a star?
No, the moon is the planet, darling.
The sun is a star. Is
Well,
the moon really a planet?
The moon is a planet.
Don't look at me
honey.
like that.
It's
The sun is
it's
a star.
Planet.
Is the sun not a star?
I don't know what the sun is.
The sun is
we
a
don't
star,
know what
isn't
the
it?
sun is.
The sun is a star. The moon is not a planet.
moon
I
is
knew
a
it.
planet.
I knew it. You were
Excuse
trying
me?
to take me
No.
down that road.
Wait,
the moon is not a
excuse
planet.
Me, Chunky, if you're listening to
This
me,
is
you have to
Rosebud.
Google the moon.
Someone, I
okay?
can guarantee you someone's Googling right now.
The
Because
moon
I
is
knew
such
it was
a
not
planet. I can't even
The moon
stand
is
it.
not a planet.
What else is it if it's not a planet?
It is not. I believe it's a star or something.
It's
it is
a
not
moon.
I've heard that conversation at a brunch once. I swear.
Is it a star? Is it a planet? Is it a moon?
No.
What's the answer to the question?
Is actually a moon.
That is, boy, there was a lot of stupidity in
There was
that
a lot
segment.
going on there. A lot
They're
of
also
confidence
called
answers.
Satellites, an object that orbits another object that's not a star.
See, duh.
What channels does it pick up, though?
Does it got rabbit ears? So there you go. Some
Wow, that was...
I love when people...
I know we have moments for sure.
all the time.
That was like another level of, okay.
I love answering things with no basis of knowledge that confidently. Like just coming out and like, what are you talking about?
No.
The moon is a planet. No, it's not.
To be fair, though, I kind of had the same thought as if when Swag was like, I'll watch Summer League if they take this guy, but not that guy. And I was like, what?
It's a very confident answer. Did we ever resolve the Pluto issue? Is Pluto a planet, not a planet?
It's coming and
It's
going.
still under debate.
It's coming and going.
Still being debated?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
All
an
right.
ice rock.
Yeah, sounds about right. So there you go. There's a debate about what the moon is on the Home Shopping Network. Our gal has struck again.
Our gal?
Our favorite broadcaster in Major League Baseball.
Oh, the A's lady.
She's at it again.
Look, you just said, to be fair, you just classified the Diamondbacks as the worst broadcast in baseball.
That's true. We might have a new ranking.
But
I forgot about her for a moment.
This one, I heard
still
this one.
Berthume Brenly.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Steve Berthume.
Steve Berthume. He is such a homer. I cannot stand
Oh,
him.
you want another hot take on the WNBA randomly?
Sure.
I've never called play-by-play. I think you could insert me in and I'd fit in okay.
Think you do pretty good?
Swag, watch WNBA League Pass, and I dare you to not rip your hair out.
Why don't you go get that? That'd be a great job.
I would, honestly, he would be
In the
instantly,
booming of the league. The league's growing and pop. Like, now's the time. It's like buying a stock at the right time.
he would be in the top 5. I've listened to all of the league commentators.
Mhm.
There's a couple.
They have their like local TV deals, basically, right? Similar to the NBA, or is it? How does it work in the WNBA?
No, because it's on like Ion and
Oh, okay.
yeah, you get home
It's
broadcasts.
Mm.
Like I know the Seattle Storms is Elise Woodward and Dick Fane.
Yeah.
And they're one of the best duos.
That's their WNBA duo?
Yeah, Dick Fane's been calling Storm games for years, and
Interesting.
I should have known Elise was too because she was doing a bunch of stuff when I was interning at KJR.
Yeah.
They're already, they're at the top of it. I think if Swag got into it, he would be near the top.
Well, speaking of being at the top in broadcasting, this happened yesterday. The A's led the Rays. A's and Rays were playing a vicious battle that everybody was watching.
Ah, the fight for a stadium.
Yes, the fight for who is going to be relocated first.
What city are we in?
It was a 4-3 game in the 9th inning. Okay. The A's have this elite closer who has come out of nowhere and become one of the best stories in baseball.
He's a rookie, right?
Will be traded at some point. Mason Miller.
Yeah,
Just
Mason Miller.
51 Ks and 30 innings.
Throws at 104 miles an
He
hour.
was making
Dominating.
Pirate fans pissed because they called him up and he was dominating. Like, yo, where's our Skeens, man?
Where's our guy? So it's 4-3 in the 9th. The A's lead by 1. They're closers in the game. Jose Siri of the Tampa Bay Rays is at the plate. Here is the at-bat.
Bring in customer number 2. Hey Siri, it's not your night.
Strike one.
Whiffs it 100. A feeling Mason Miller might have some payback in his back pocket for what Siri did to the A's yesterday. 0-1, and that's launched towards left field, and the payback comes at the bat of Jose Siri. Tied up the ball game with another homer.
And they went on to win 6-5 in extra innings.
And boom goes the dynamite.
There is something funny about hearing the announcer reverse jinx in that quick of time.
Oh, that was humbling.
Like, hey, Siri, now you're not to like 15 seconds later. If you haven't seen the highlight of this home run, too, it is an absolute, like,
it's a missile.
Leaves the bat, and he stands there and admires it. It is a no-doubter.
What was the exit velocity? We got to piss Mike Wilbon off.
I'd say 274 miles an hour based on the sound of the bat.
I'm not mad at the cliche, corny, easy call if it's timed right. If he gets a pop out, hey, Siri, it's not your night. Like you're talking to your phone. I get it. Strike one, and you're doing the gimmicky phone reference with the, and then the payback is there out of one strike.
First pitch of the at-bat.
Maybe table that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not a great start for the A's season with having that.
Nothing is going well for the A's. Other than Mason Miller, who will likely be traded at the deadline. That's about all they got going for him. And that was a hell of a reverse jinx. So there you go. We learned what a moon is. And don't jinx a team when you're calling their games. Lessons of the day.
The tone also doesn't change from a positive thing for the home team to a negative. It's just like, hey, Siri, there's some payback. Oh, there's a home run. It's just like the tone. Nothing changes there.
She had one a couple weeks ago I didn't play on the show that was basically it was a home run that somebody on the A's hit, and she said, I think that one's got a chance. It's tracking. And it hit halfway off the scoreboard. And everybody's like, that was a no-doubter off of the bat.
Well, to be fair, you come with the Mets, and those Mets guys are just like, well,
this team sucks.
Another awful day here.
There you go. Some fun with audio for you. Let's break the line. Get your fake sponsors in to the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. We'll do some gambling next. First, your swag with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on the Fan, the Mavericks finally ended the Timberwolves playoff run, and they will meet the Celtics in the NBA Finals starting on Thursday in Boston. Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving making quick work of Minnesota, each scoring 36. It was a 124-103 rout, never in doubt. Celtics opening as 6-point favorites for Game 1. Western Conference Finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs set to go tonight in Dallas. Game 5 between the Stars and Oilers, all locked up at 2 games apiece. Puck drops at 5:30. You can hear it on 910 ESPN Portland. Our pregame coverage will start at 5 o'clock. Ducks and Beavers ready to make the run to Omaha. Regional action of the NCAA baseball tournament starts today. Oregon's in the Santa Barbara Regional. They'll take on WCC champion San Diego at noon. We'll have it on 910 ESPN Portland, pregame at 11:45. The Beavers are hosting the Corvallis Regional and open up against Tulane. 6 o'clock first pitch on ESPN2. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The afternoon round of the 10th Annual Fan Golf Classic, presented by Autotown GMC, is This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
Sprague in the line.
Sprague in the line.
Sprague in the line.
Sprague in the line.
Sprague in the line brought to you by the Boston Celtics winning the NBA championship. Sorry, Dirt, it's inevitable. No, it's not. Never.
Are we going to have to do a big apology tour?
We're going to have to go apologize for this one. See what else we got here on the old fan text line. These get jumbled together always. Sprague in the line brought to you by the odds of making it through the Fan Golf Classic without an arrest for drunk and disorderly conduct. Still better odds than a Sprague pick. Sprague in the line brought to you by Brandon Bragg and Jert Donson. Any radio personality would be excited to work with them.
I actually did talk to Jane Jones.
Big Daniel Dones fans here. Sprague Line brought to you by The Moon. Just like a Sprague pick, it's a rock-solid landing, only to find out the whole thing is a sham. What else we got here? Sprague Line brought to you by Dirt's 5'8" son's recruiting chances. Still better odds than a Sprague pick. Come on, man. Leave Teddy Ballgame out of this.
Teddy Ballgame's going to be tall.
You're damn right he is. D1. Sprague Line brought to you by The Moon, because like a Sprague pick, you really don't know what it is. Even when you debate it, you're no closer to understanding it. And Sprague Line brought to you by Mariners run support, still more dependable than a Sprague pick.
Wow.
Trust that offense.
Boy, that's saying something.
The Friday parlay of the day is on a 2-week losing streak here.
Feels a little longer than that, but okay.
2 weeks. You know, nobody knows.
Like 3.
Nobody's tracking. We're
Maybe
going with 2.
4.
Nobody's paying attention.
Okay.
So I'm going to change it up a little bit today. We have a P1. I believe Martin is his name.
Okay.
And he's been tweeting us all season long about gambling against bad baseball teams.
Oh, yeah. Martin loves to find the worst team and just say,
Always.
I'm betting against them every day, and I'm going to win money out of it.
Rockies, whatever bad baseball team you want to choose. He's hammering against the bad teams in baseball. So I am going with the P1 Martin bad baseball bet parlay of the day.
Okay.
Ready for this?
Yeah.
Let me pull up all my matchups to make, because I wrote down the winners of the games. I got to remind myself who they're all playing. I'm going to start with your Atlanta Braves.
The Oakland A's are in town.
The Oakland A's are in town. That's the first one that stands out. Bet against the A's. Braves money line. I'm going to then go to Milwaukee, where they're taking
the
on
Cubs.
The Chicago Whites. The 15-42 White Sox are in town.
The White Sox are
so bad. Brewers money line. Then I'm going to Los Angeles, where they are taking on the Colorado Rockies at home. Dodgers money line. We move on to Philadelphia. All these teams, by the way, are at home. Philadelphia is at home against the St. Louis Cardinals. Not quite as bad. They're 500,
Still
but
not that good.
Phillies are the best team in baseball right now. I will take them. And last but not least, just because I'm trying to juice my odds a little bit here, I'm going with the Guardians at home against the Washington Nationals. That is a 5-team parlay that equals plus 564. Braves, Brewers, Dodgers, Phillies, Guardians. Beat the books.
5's stretching it a bit.
It is. It's pushing it.
There's one in there that's going to let you down. It might be my Bravos.
Somebody will. Don't lose to the A's, man. You got Lopez.
Cardinals
has been really good
have
this year.
picked it up as of late.
They're playing better ball.
What happens if you take that out? What does that dip into?
Which one?
If you take the Cardinal game out of the equation, just out of the sheer.
Hold on, I got to type it all back in. Hold on, give me a second, because I already locked in my bet here. So I'm going to go Guardians. This is great radio.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Guardians, Braves.
Yep, Doyers.
What else I have? Brewers and Dodgers.
Yep.
That is a plus 336.
That's still good value.
Very good value.
If you like those teams.
I like going 564, baby.
I'm going to take the Timbers money line against the Dynamo this weekend, plus 120.
Riding a heater.
Our red-hot Portland Timbers.
Timbers on a heater. They've won 3 of their last 4.
Yes, they have. I will take the Mavericks in the series to beat the Celtics at plus 175. And I'm taking the Stars tonight, just straight money line, minus 130. And my Oregon State Beavers to win the regional at minus 140.
They're minus 140 favorite.
Beat the books.
Beat the books.
Yep. I like the over in the goals tonight between Oilers and Stars. At some point, Dallas has to score on a power play. The streak of consecutive power plays killed by the Oilers is ridiculous. What is
Very
it, 23,
impressive.
24 something now?
Very impressive.
That will end.
Oh, by the way, I meant Oilers. I said Stars. I'm taking the Oilers.
Oh, you're taking the Oilers? You're taking the dog on
the
road.
We're going road.
Plus
Road
dog.
Yeah, sorry.
I too will take the Timbers plus 115 at home. They've finally.
We like that bet. Who are they
some-
playing? The Dynamo?
The Dynamo, who aren't all that great, but I think they've started to figure out how to unleash their young scoring talent, and coach is finally getting out of the way. So it's really all about if their back line holds up. Traditionally, when they have a lead late in games, it's a little dicey.
Okay. All right. Hold on to the lead.
So just protect the damn lead. I will take game 1. I will take the Mavericks plus 6.5 on the road in game 1.
They're
I don't know
6.5 point dog for game 1.
They are right now on DraftKings. I don't know if they can pull it off, but Boston sitting around for that long will not be good for that crew. So I think the Mavericks will at least make it quite interesting and entertaining in game 1, if not pull the upset.
I do love that they're getting a lot of points in game 1.
Yeah. 6.5. That seems like a lot, doesn't it?
I just, Boston's got a real chance to make a lot of us's out there look like complete idiots.
Like I said, if Kristaps is able to come back and he's all of a sudden comes in, he's fired up, ready to go, knocks down some threes, and the Mavericks do not have a good answer for him, that could severely change things. But
I think the Pacers covered in 3 of the 4 games, didn't they?
They had 90% plus winning probabilities in 3 of the 4 games.
Yeah.
So they had their shots too. And Tatum, Brown, probably going to win the MVPs most likely, unless Porzingis, to Swag's point, comes back and lights it up a little bit. Maybe it's probably Luka if the Mavericks can pull the upset. The underrated ones there, if you're looking for juicy odds, like Holiday's defense is going to matter a great deal in this series if he is defending a Kyrie or a Luka, if they want to go that route. And on the other side, if Dallas wins, I'm assuming it's because Kyrie also had a good series. It's hard for me to see Dallas winning with Kyrie playing the way he did in Game 4 at home when he was, 6 of 18. So if they can beat Boston, it's because Kyrie also had a great series. Those are interesting odds to look at for Finals MVPs. Finals MVPs are not always just the best player.
No.
Remember, Andre Iguodala got it for holding LeBron to 36 points per game.
Exactly.
Not only was he not the best player in the series, he wasn't even the best player on his own team.
No, he wasn't.
And he somehow won Finals MVP.
LeBron should have 4 titles and 5 Finals MVPs. How odd of a little resume is that?
That is still one of the funniest things that's ever happened in the history of the NBA.
I know. He got
Andre
it for his
Iguodala
defense.
winning it for a defensive Finals MVP.
He did shoot really well in that series, but I kept hearing about how good his defense was. I'm like, LeBron's averaging 36, 9, and 8. What are we talking about here?
I want to go back and look up some of those game logs. What year was that? That was the 2016 Finals?
That was
I want to
2015.
2015
It was
NBA
their first
Finals?
title. Yeah, that was the Dellavedova series.
Matthew Dellavedova, yeah, because you had their two guys Kyrie got hurt. And
Kevin Love had his arm ripped out by the
Yes.
Celtics.
Yes, he
and then
did.
Kyrie basically broke his kneecap after Game 1.
Dirty bastards. I think one of the reasons I'm so anti, that was 16 was they won. Hold on, let me find that year. So 2014, 2015 in the NBA Finals, LeBron averaged 35.8 points per game.
Yeah.
He went for 44, 39, 40, 20, a measly 20 points in Game 4, 40, and then 32 in the elimination game. For 36, we round up. He averaged 13 and a half rebounds a game.
Oh, that was more than I gave him credit.
And 9 assists. So basically,
almost a triple double.
Rounding up, he averaged 36, 13 and a half, and 9 basically while shooting 40% from the floor.
Yeah, but Iguodala, man,
Locked
that
him
defense.
Locked him up.
One of the dumber things in our lifetime will be that he did not get Finals MVP because he didn't win the series.
He didn't win. He got to win. He didn't win. Jordan would have won that series with Matthew Dellavedova by his side. One of the reasons I am anti-Boston, though, is the way that old stupid Big Three treated Ray Allen leaving.
Well,
I
kind of understood.
I have never gotten over that. That's so they all left their respective teams and bailed on their old organizations to go to a new team. Not all of them, but Kevin Garnett did.
Eventually, yeah.
Rondo wanted to he wants to box him. He wants to punch him in the face. Like, what are we doing?
I more get annoyed we
won a
act like that
championship.
team was a dynasty. They won one title.
They went to 2 and they won 1.
Yeah.
That's all they got.
But we treat them like they had some dynasty run.
One of the all-time greats. There you go. Sprague and the Line every Friday at 8:30. Good luck, everybody out there this weekend. Beating the books. Sprague and the Line brought to you by the Odds of Swag, calling play-by-play for Portland's WNBA team next season. Still better odds than a Sprague pick. Worst jobs to have, man. Worst jobs to have. That's for sure. We'll wrap it up. Send you on your weekend on a beautiful Friday. Close it up next on The Fan.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
There you go. Fist bumping your way into the weekend every single Friday. One of the most generic spring radio segments that we avoided today, but I might bring up here in the final segment.
It's June tomorrow.
It is, yeah, it is June. Holy hell, it's June tomorrow.
Yeah.
When the hell did that happen?
It's my wife's birth month.
It is. You got a whole month celebration you got to do?
Dude, when I met her in college, she was a birth month person. And not like in the, you got to get me something every day, we got to do something. It just was like a kind of a cliche way of saying, I'm going to party hard.
It's my birth month and I'm going to have some fun.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
She's since grown. We've gotten older and she's not doing that as much. 38's not as exciting as, 23.
Yeah.
But yeah, June tomorrow. It's crazy. It's flying.
We have our Hard Knocks selection.
Oh, we forgot to talk about that.
We did not. It's in my notes.
This was the easiest layup that they could have been handed.
So you got to remember, there's caveats of you. If you made the playoffs last year, you're eliminated. You don't have to be in it. And if you've hired a new coach, you're eliminated and you don't have to be in it. So it's this subsect of teams who has not hired a new coach and did not make the playoffs last year. So it was a pretty small group to choose from. And to your point, no-brainer. They went with the Chicago Bears. Will be your Hard Knocks team. And we're going to get Caleb Williams up front and center, baby, all August.
That's great. I'm excited to see Caleb. You know how I feel about him. I mean, not that there's not other people that don't also feel that he's going to be a transcendent quarterback that can put Chicago over the map and kind of establish himself as the first real franchise quarterback that makes that city super excited. Yeah, also, I'm kind of curious about Eberflus a little bit. And
I am too.
I'll give you why. I don't think he should have been brought back, but he was.
No, agree with you.
He's also sexied himself up a little bit. Go look at Matt Eberflus in his last press conference. He's changed his style, and he's actually been asked about this, and he said his daughters have helped him out here.
He's like trying to go young hip dad.
He's grown a beard. He's starting to dress a little more trendy. He's changing the image a little bit.
He is.
And so I'm curious.
The hairdo, he's like a pompadour, man.
Yeah.
He belongs in Peaky Blinders.
He looks like a zaddy going to a bar looking for the next young hot thing.
He does. That's an interesting look.
Curious the personality type. Caleb will be interesting. He always is. And then you got vets on that team. Their defense should be pretty good. I thought this was an easy slam dunk pick for them.
Absolute no-brainer. You got number one pick. Caleb Williams is he's an attraction in and of himself, no matter what team he plays for. You get the Bears, big market, team that's historic in the NFL but hasn't been good for a while. So, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Eberflus, I don't know a lot about him other than I don't think he should have been retained in Chicago, so we'll see how that take ages. He reminds me a lot, that's why I'm curious of the Hard Knocks thing, he reminds me of a younger Joe Philbin.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is he a Joe Philbin personality, or is he
Yeah.
kind of got a little more than we've seen so far?
And I'm not going to give him the credit for a hairdo saying there's personality there. I think this guy's going to bore the hell out of us.
He very well could.
Not that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Not that it has to be a
No,
bad
it
thing.
is a bad thing.
It's a bad thing.
Well, don't you like look, there's
I mean,
been
Bill
good and bad
Belichick's a
coaches.
boring guy, but that's a
I don't want him on Hard Knocks.
Extreme example.
Do you want him on Hard Knocks?
No, I do not want him on Hard Knocks.
Okay.
But if he's the greatest coach of all time, at least there's a cell of like, hey, what's he, what makes him tick behind the scenes? I don't really have that at all with Eberflus.
I'm probably going to find myself rooting in Chicago games for Caleb just because of how much I enjoy watching him play. Are you guys of the nature, they're a blue blood NFL team, just because of the history. Are you in the camp of you like it when the Bears are good? Or are you indifferent on the Bears being good? Because the NFL has been begging us for the Bears, or have been begging Chicago for the Bears to be relevant so they could put them on more national games. But they've been so up and down in nature.
I'm indifferent on it.
I'm indifferent on the Bears.
Okay.
I don't.
I'm not opposed to them being good. Soldier Field.
If you're
cold
going
weather,
to
like, all
put
right.
them on national TV, yes, I hope that they are good. I don't.
But do you like when they're good? I like my stance on this would be the Knicks. I bagged the whole it matters when New York's good, and I still think we debate them too much, but I will say
It certainly makes when they hype like the Bears-Packers oldest rivalry in the NFL and all that stuff.
that game has meant nothing to me the last few years.
Exactly.
nothing at
So
all.
if you're going to push that on me, then hopefully it has some actual juice in the game to it.
If Caleb Williams doesn't work out for them, and this is a flame out, they have to feel cursed at this point, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
If
they
this
have
doesn't
never
work-
had a quarterback. You finally got your guy. It wasn't even supposed to be
And
your
if
pick.
Jaden Daniels works in Washington,
any quarterback works anywhere. It's going to hurt.
Man,
How come we didn't identify Bo Nix right?
New England gets their next Tom Brady and Mays winning Super Bowls.
Oof.
So there you go. The Bears have been announced as your Hard Knocks team. So that's what we have to look forward to coming up next year. So I got a cough. What are we doing this weekend? We got anything planned this weekend?
We got Hops baseball.
Hops baseball. Swag's working. Always
Swag's
working.
got work.
Yep.
Always working.
Hoping we don't get rained out on Sunday.
Yeah, we got that torrential downpour coming. I don't really think I have.
Got another nice little low-key weekend?
Oh, going to meet Teddy ball game today.
Hey.
Oh, there you go.
Coming over today.
You didn't even know it. That's why I asked if...
Oh, I thought you were coming over on Sunday. Coming over today? What time are you coming over today?
I have actually no clue at all.
I don't either.
I didn't know it was happening until yesterday.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, you guys were supposed to come over. We were going to invite you over last weekend, and then you were gone.
Well, it was the holiday.
Yeah.
And if we're being truthful here, no, we weren't gone. We were home. We were at my dad's, and I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, that's how I am on weekends,
I have
too.
lazy days all the time.
Shout out the Linfield softball team.
Okay.
Division III softball World Series Final 8. They won their opener yesterday.
Hell yeah, brother.
They are the number 1 overall seed, 49-2 on the season. They play
damn.
today at 11 a.m.
Shout out Linfield.
Good luck to your Duckies. Good luck to my BBs. We're going to win. We're going to win the regionals.
I hope we get a super regional against each other.
Dude, what if we got a Civil War Omaha game?
That'd be awesome.
That would be kind of cool.
That'd be fun. Be a lot of fun. That will do it for us, folks. If you missed any of the show, you can go check it at 1080thefan.com, at Dirt and Sprague and at 1080thefan. We had Eric Gunderson on at 7:30. You can go check that for the Daily Ticker.
Live from Vernonia, the hot
Live
takes.
from Vernonia, talking about the NBA draft. It's a fun show. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will talk to you Monday at 6 a.m. Colin is next. Listening to 1080 The Fan.
Game 5 tonight, the Mavs look to close things out on the road.